Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of 93.7 The Fan, on the biggest stage in the world. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Well, not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. This is going to be a really big deal for the USA match against Turkey this week. The final match in group stage, the U.S. has already clinched its spot, number one seed coming out of this group. That means that they're probably going to do a lot of substitutions, and we're going to see a lot of different faces for this last game. So protect yourself. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now, and let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated. Now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. Like sunshine coming on.
And how about working more comfortably like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. Visit us in Cranberry Township, in Robinson Town Center, in the Waterfront, in Morgantown at Suncrest Town Center, and at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
While the world watches the stars at the FIFA World Cup this summer, Hyundai has its eyes on the next generation of talent. The future stars who are already turning heads at age 14. Because next doesn't wait for an invitation, and neither do we. Hyundai has always moved the future within reach. We did it when we made advanced safety standard on every vehicle and engineered EVs with ultra-fast charging capability. Because the future isn't some far-off concept. It's already here. Next starts now. Hyundai, an official partner of FIFA.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. This summer, your passport isn't required. Welcome to Summer in Tokyo at P.F. Chang's. Inspired by the color and energy of Tokyo's vibrant sushi scene, these limited-time creations bring bold flavors in every bite. Discover new sushi rolls, steak tataki, and lobster and prawn fried rice inspired by one of the world's most exciting food destinations. Cruise through Tokyo, one roll at a time aboard our sushi boat with wave after sushi wave of unforgettable taste. Summer in Tokyo at P.F. Chang's. Your journey to Tokyo starts here.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world has noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins Aeroburst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of Aeroburst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
HD1 Pittsburgh.
An Odyssey Sports Station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
All right, Joel Nelson for fan headlines. Last night, Pirates fell to the Reds 9-7. The third and final game of the series will be 1:35 this afternoon from PNC Park. It's right here on The Fan with coverage at noon presented by Keystone Custom Apparel, leading you into the Pirates Insider Show at 12:35. And this afternoon, Mitch Keller takes the mound against Brady Singer of Cincinnati. More headlines, 93.7thefan.com. Right now, it's a Sunday morning with Josh Roundtree.
Live and local, even on the weekends. Let's go! Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
2-2 is swung on, hit to deep right field toward the corner. Reynolds looking up, and there it goes. A 3-run opposite field home run. Eugenio Suarez with the Pirates a strike away from winning. It's Suarez to give the Reds a 9-7 lead in the ninth. The 0-1, swinging a ball line, caught, and the game ends. And the bullpen again falters. It's a 9-7 Reds win.
I wouldn't say we got into it. We were just trying to get on the same page.
No. We're talking about something else. So it wasn't about the game, honestly.
Oh boy. I was sitting at the house yesterday, putting together all sorts of different topics and notes this Sunday morning show. I kind of looked at it as a chance to do a little collection of the week that was, talk about a variety of topics. I was actually going to talk about Caitlin Clark this morning and her treatment in the WNBA. I was going to talk about Brendan Sorsby this morning, and I was going to talk about perhaps even the Phil Mickelson situation going on. The Penguins and their new ownership announced this week. The Penguins and the NHL draft, which happened this week. We might even get into a little Drew Aller or Howard talk. Aller v. Howard. That was what I was planning on doing. And then the Pirates, well, they went full Pirates. And the Will Howard, Drew Aller talk, the Joey Porter Jr. contract talk, the Penguins' new ownership talk, the NHL draft talk, the Brendan Sorsby and Caitlin Clark and Phil Mickelson topics. We might get to those at some point here in the next 3 hours. But I kind of have a feeling that the fan base, the Pittsburgh fan base, the Yinzers at large, want to sink their teeth into the absolute laughingstock joke debacle that was last night and the current state of this Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And there's really no way around it. The funny thing is that this is arguably the most successful Pirates team that we have seen in a little over a decade. And yet it seems like the wheels, as they say, are just falling off as this thing gets older and older. I'm Josh Roundtree. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Good to be back with you. It's been a little while, but happy to be in on this Sunday morning. Joel Nelson behind the glass producing. It's funny, I was out and about last night. Joel, you know this. I was with Sean Myers. We were at a Greek food festival in Oakland. Don't ask me how we ended up there. But we're monitoring the Pirates game, and they get the lead. But you just have that feeling right now, don't you? You just have that feeling that nothing with this team is safe. That there is no lead that you are, unless it's about 10 runs, and even at that, I'm not sure if you're completely and totally believing in that yet. But there's just no lead that you look at and say, you know what, they got this. This isn't like 2015. This isn't like 2014 or 13. There's not a Mark Melancon walking in or a Jason Grilli walking in from the bullpen or Tony Watson. They don't have those guys. And what this season is, I think, showing the Pirates, I think it's showing a lot of people, is that there are multiple facets of this game, and you cannot get away with being horrific in one of those aspects. And the reality is right now, I mean, the Pirates have hit the ball, I think, well enough, but they're not a great defensive team. As we saw last night, a costly error allows a game-tying run to come in when it should have gotten them out of an inning. They're not getting exceptional starting pitching right now, which is what they were supposed to be getting at this point. We saw that last night with Jared Jones. And you heard in the open there a little bit more to the Jared Jones mess of last night than just poor pitching. And then there's the bullpen. There's the bullpen, which night after night looks exactly like what we just saw. That even though the Pirates scored 7 runs in a game last night, even though they continually score runs, they still find ways to lose. 18 blown saves this year. Look, I'm not asking them to be perfect. I'm not asking them to execute on every single save opportunity that they get, but my God, man, 18 of them? I mean, if you have a third of that, 6 blown saves right now, you're in a really good spot standings-wise. Instead, they're below 500 at essentially the midway point of the season. And once again, we're looking at a Pirates team that as they get set to enter July, doesn't really have the makings or the look of a contender. But this is different. This is different than last year. This is different than the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that. We can go all the way back to like 2017, talking about this Pirates team where I think expectations were relatively low, where expectations were probably that this team wasn't really going to do much of anything because they just didn't really invest and there wasn't really a lot of buzz or talk about them. No, this is different. This is different. This is a team that is not living up to expectation. This is a team that night after night looks to be, particularly as they get to the bullpen, in a state of disarray. And it opens up, I think, this question. You heard the clip when we came in. You heard the Suarez home run. By the way, remember the Pirates said that they tried to sign Eugenio Suarez? Didn't. Burns him. But doesn't it seem like the Pirates just always get lit up by guys that either they were close to getting or maybe could have gotten or people thought that they should get, or the local guys? Ian Happ, J.J. Weatherholt, Cole Young. There's just something about this franchise that it's like the one guy that you're, oh, look, it's this guy. And then, boom, a ball sails out of PNC Park, and you're like, what the blank? How did that guy just do that? And Eugenio Suarez, by the way, not having a great year. He's hitting .210. I think that was his 8th home run of the season last year. It's not like he's been a game changer in Cincinnati, but when he faces the team that he very well could have played for, of course he comes through with the monster home run that sneaks out off Gregory Soto. And now the Pirates are below 500 yet again. But back to the biggest question at hand right now. You heard the argument, heard about the argument, I'm sure at this point. If you didn't, if you haven't caught up, there was last night an argument in the dugout between Pirates catcher Endy Rodriguez and Pirates starting pitcher Jared Jones. On the surface, like these things happen. Guys are frustrated. The team's not living up to expectations, and maybe a little bit of fire isn't such a bad thing. Doing it in the dugout in front of the cameras, maybe not the best look. Maybe you tuck down into the tunnel there. There's little areas to go and let off some steam. If you didn't know that, there are actually designated areas behind dugouts where guys just go and they just beat the hell out of the place. They'll take a bat in there and they'll just let loose. They'll get their frustrations out so they're not on camera. You see it from time to time. But Jared Jones and Endy Rodriguez get into this altercation. It ends with Endy Rodriguez rolling his eyes and then eating a banana. I'm not kidding. That's literally what happened. As Jared Jones walked away, Endy Rodriguez rolled his eyes and then ate a banana. And Jared Jones also walked away in what appeared to be some state of dissatisfaction with what had just transpired with him and Rodriguez. So after the game, they get asked about it. Here's the response from Jared Jones.
I wouldn't say we got into it. We were just trying to get on the same page.
Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't say that we got into it. Well, two guys kind of going back and forth with each other, and then one guy rolling his eyes as the other one walks away, ticked off. I'd say that's getting into it. I wouldn't say that they threw down. I wouldn't say that they, went full fight on it, but I would say they got into it a little bit. But hey, that's okay. A little fire's not the worst thing necessarily. And I'm sure then Andy Rodriguez, when he was asked about it, certainly backed up what Jared Jones had to say. I'm sure he said he agreed. They didn't really get into it. They were just, I'm sure he said something like, "Oh, they were just trying to get on the same page in the game," right?
No. We're talking about something else. So it wasn't about the game, honestly.
What? What? So you have one guy as a part of the battery here. And look, at the end of the day, you got to be on the same page, pitcher and catcher. And that's not just on the mound. That's when you talk to the media about what just happened in the game. So you have Jared Jones, who is saying, yeah, we were just trying to get on the same page here. We were just trying to figure some things out. Things weren't going great, but we wanted to kind of hash it out. And then Andy Rodriguez comes through with just...
No. We're talking about something else. So it wasn't about the game, honestly.
What are they talking about? It's not about the game. I would rather have heard Andy Rodriguez say, yeah, we got into it because things weren't going great. But to come out and say we got into it about something that wasn't involving the game? Are you arguing about World Cup results? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about some sort of political disagreement? Are we talking about pancakes or waffles here? What is the argument here? What is the disagreement that Andy Rodriguez had that it appears that Jared Jones didn't have? This might seem like, I don't know, semantics here. It might seem like it's small potatoes in the grand scheme of the Pirates' problems, but I don't think it is. Because here is the biggest question that I have for these Pittsburgh Pirates right now as we sit here on the early morning of June 28th with a baseball team that had expectations of competing for a playoff spot and are watching that slowly slip away. The question that I have with these Pittsburgh Pirates, as we sit here right now, is has the manager lost control of the clubhouse? I think it's a valid time to have that conversation. Look, this is nothing personal against Donnie Kelly. I like Donnie Kelly. I think he has a good temperament and a good mind for the game. I think he's equipped and has been equipped to be a major league manager. He's also in his first full season as a major league manager. He's dealing with a team that, if you look at it, yeah, you could say, well, the bullpen's not good. That's not necessarily entirely his fault. Maybe part of it is. You could look at this team and say they've got lackluster starting pitching. You could look at this team and talk about payroll. You could look at this team and say, are there, in-game managerial decisions that have not been good? You could look at this team and say, well, the Griffin and Cruz injuries hurt them, or the way that the organization dealt with Carmen Majinski in that situation dealt with it. And I want to talk about that a little bit more as we go here. But I think the question deserves to be asked, and maybe this is all encompassing with all of these things that have happened. They sort of snowball into this. But has the manager lost control of the clubhouse a tad here? Is this a team that looks like it is serious about winning baseball games? And I'm not talking about, monetary investments. Those claims, they're valid. I get it. That's where a lot of people start and end when they talk about the Pirates. But this is different. This isn't a team that's losing because it hasn't necessarily invested enough that you could say maybe they need to invest more in their bullpen, and I would understand that argument. But the bigger problem here is that this does just not look like a team that is hell-bent on winning. They look like a team that has personalities. They look like a team that has ego involved in it, particularly when you talk about their starting pitchers. And I would begin to throw Paul Skeens into that mix as well. And his is more the way he pitches, not necessarily his temperament. But you have a guy like Jared Jones, who a few weeks ago, when he was set to make his return to the MLB club, get asked if he would pitch out of the bullpen, and it was like he wanted to drag the reporter outside and beat him with a sack of bars of soap just for asking the question. How dare you ask me if I'm going to go into the bullpen? I mean, the response was just utterly and completely ridiculous from Jones. It was maybe brushed off a bit, and people said, well, you know, he's a competitor, he's this, he wants to pitch, he wants to be the starter. But it was an arrogant response to a completely obvious and legitimate question, and that's how it was handled by Jones, who last night gets into a fight with one of his teammates in the dugout, or a disagreement, or however you want to label it. Not just a teammate, but the starting catcher. I think it's also important to bring up Carmen Mlodzinski in all of this. The Pirates were 4 games over 500 when Mlodzinski got placed on the restricted list. They are 5 games under 500 since all of that happened. Now, does one guy make that big of a difference? I don't know. I don't think so. But we're talking about a guy who quit on his team here. That's how I looked at it. We're talking about a guy who quit, who was told, hey, look, we need you in this role. Can you do it? And he said, I don't want to be a part of this. I need some time to myself. What was the line? I need to talk about the people who are in my corner, as if the Pirates were not in his corner. I know we've talked about that a lot on this station, but I don't think it's been said enough that the Pirates had a guy who quit on his teammates in the middle of a season with the team over 500, 4 games over 500, and in line to make a push for the postseason, and he put himself above the rest of the team. He put his future financial earnings ahead of the team. And we're not talking about a guy like Paul Skeens doing this. We're talking about Carmen friggin' Mlodzinski doing this. We're talking about a guy that wasn't a team player. We're talking about a guy that didn't care about where his team was in the standings and doing what was best so that they can win as many games as possible, and believing in the process, believing in the decision-making, believing in what was ahead of him. And he said, I'm going to take my ball and go home here. I'm going to talk about the people that care about me, completely and totally throwing his teammates in the organization under the bus. They don't care about me. I got my agent, however, does. And that's who I'm going to go to in this situation. That's what Carmen Mlodzinski essentially said. And he quit on his team. And what did the Pirates do when a guy quit on them? They welcomed him back, and they put him in situations in which he'll be comfortable in. Hey, Carmen, we got a 10-run lead, bud. Why don't you go out there and give us some innings here? We're not going to use you in the high-leverage situations that a reliever should be used in. Instead, buddy, we're going to use you where you're comfortable. We're going to keep you on a routine because we know you like that, and we're going to keep your future earnings in mind because we think that's what matters to you. To hell with that, man. He should have been on his ass. See ya. Unemployment line. Enjoy it. Go pitch somewhere else because we're bigger than Carmen Mlodzinski. They mishandled that situation. And whether that's a Ben Cherington move, whether that's a Bob Nutting thing, whether that's a Donnie Kelly move, I don't know who makes the end decision there. But collectively, you have to look at the fact, and you pinpoint the fact that the Pirates were 4 games above 500 when that happened, and they were trending in a pretty positive direction. And ever since that went down and that guy had that selfish act this team has begun to crumble. And you might say, look, that's just one guy. If they can't get by one guy, things like that fracture locker rooms. Things like that become cancerous. Things like that put thoughts in the back of guys' minds where they say, wait a minute, this guy quit on us, and now he's allowed to do whatever the hell he wants and pitch in the situations where he feels most comfortable? No. Soft-spined organizations don't win, and that's what the Pirates became when and I said this at the time, they need to just tell Carmen Mlodzinski, hey, you're going to go pitch somewhere else, or we're going to put you on the restricted list, and you can sit for the rest of the season. Have fun with that, my guy. And instead, a couple days later, what happened? Carmen Mlodzinski, he's back, and he's pitching in scenarios and situations in which Carmen Mlodzinski feels the most comfortable. Jared Jones scoffs at a media member when asked about pitching out of the bullpen. Like it's offensive to pitch out of the bullpen. What happens with Jared Jones? He comes back, and there's been mixed results, certainly, with Jones so far, but his ERA is at 5.76. He said after the game last night, and we'll play you his comments here in a bit, but Jared Jones said last night, I'm getting lit up right now. Boy, that sounds like a confident pitcher to me. Good Lord, man. At least there's some accountability there, I suppose, but this is after he talked about fighting with one of his teammates in the dugout. What are we doing here? Listen, I like Donnie Kelly. I'm a Point Park guy. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. I'm from here. It's awesome to see the Pittsburgh Point Park guy manage the Pirates. It's a great story. And I think he's a good baseball mind. And I don't think he is incapable of managing a baseball team. That wasn't my impression of him as we watched him the last few years. But the reality is this guy was part of a coaching staff that was incredibly unsuccessful with Derek Shelton here. And then he got promoted as a part of that. And it doesn't look like he has a handle on the guys in his clubhouse right now. I'm not saying he can't get it back. I'm not saying he won't get it back. I'm not saying that they don't respect him. I don't necessarily know that he's done anything wrong here. I don't know this, but it sure doesn't look like a team that's primary focus in all phases, in all aspects, in the way that winning teams have it. It doesn't look like this Pirates team has that. It doesn't look like they are mentally snapped in right now to go play winning baseball, and that they have the future. Their mindset in the future is win baseball games. Win today, win tomorrow, win the next day. Keep winning until we are in a place where we are in a postseason and we are competing for a World Series. This team doesn't look like they have that as their central focus. They look like they are all over the place. They got one guy worried about his money and the way that he's being used in the bullpen. He quits on the baseball team. They have another guy fighting with his catcher in the dugout. It's slowly morphing into a debacle of epic proportions. And I think as we sit here now, past the midway point of the season, with the team below 500, given the high expectations of this team that I think started to play out at certain parts of the year, and their inability to roll momentum from one game to the next, one series to the next. Hey, look, they just won a series against Seattle. It's a good series win. And what happens? They come out and they lose two ridiculous games to Cincinnati at home right after that on a weekend. Inability to build momentum. Inability to lock in. Guys worried about this, guys being used in different roles. Maybe some of this goes on Ben Cherington as well, but I think a lot of it does. But the question deserves to be asked right now, whether it's the manager that's lost the clubhouse, whether it's the GM that's lost the clubhouse, the owner that's lost the clubhouse. Has this clubhouse been lost? Has the roster been lost right now to its own desires and not for the betterment of the team, looking at what they need to do going forward? I think it's a question that deserves to be asked, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. 412-928-9370 with you this morning. Let's grab a couple calls to start the show here. Let's go first to Scott in Aliquippa, up first on the Fan. Hi, Scott.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I saw an interesting stat today. Pirates have the best record after 7 innings of baseball.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? it tells me that they're just not good enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, their bullpen is horrid. You know, you look at like a football team that has a great offense has a terrible secondary. A hockey team that has a great goalie can't score goals. They're just not good enough.
Yeah,
I mean that's the problem.
Right. I said that last night. Right. I said that last night too, Scott. You know, people want to point fingers and blame this and blame that for the bullpen, and they're not getting guys and et cetera. But at some point, like Gregory Soto has to go get outs. He's 31 years old. He's got to go get outs. There is a large part of this that guys have to actually produce. They have to deliver, and there's a variety of factors that go into that. But you are right with that. Like these guys need to perform.
Yep. I mean, you see the potential there. The potential is there. They just can't put it together, and teams that aren't good can't put it together, and that is the Pirates.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, man. And thanks for the call, Scott. Appreciate it. I said that last night. I said you can whine and moan about Ben Cherington. I tweeted this last night. You can follow me on Twitter, by the way, JROWN32. I said you can whine and moan about Ben Cherington and spending and all that, but Soto's got to get outs, man. And the players are on the hook for this. And yeah, maybe the Pirates need to go and find a replacement for Gregory Soto if he can't get outs. I'm not denying that, but Gregory Soto's 31 years old. They gave him almost $8 million. By the way, they traded David Bednar, who got a $9 million deal, and they have Gregory Soto, who they gave almost $8 million to. What was the point of that? But you can whine and piss and moan about Ben Cherington spending, not going and being aggressive, but go get outs. Go get outs, Gregory Soto. I mean, you have a lead going to the ninth. Don't give up a freaking 3-run homer. I mean, is that so much to ask? Anthony in Oakland is next on the Fan. Good morning, Anthony.
You know, I make the same comment that you're making about why did they promote a guy who's been here and a part of all the losing in the first place?
Yeah.
When you see the Phillies bring in Donnie Baseball, and you saw a media turnaround. Donnie Baseball has the credibility to tell these guys what to do. Don Kelly does not. That's how you get pitchers who do not have the cachet to tell an organization what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. Or this Jones guy. He saw what happened Friday night. A good pitcher goes in and says, they're not even going to score on me. It was like batting practice with this guy. And he has the nerve to go after the catcher? Well, I guess he wanted his inferior catcher who can't hit to be there. So, I mean, this is imploding right before our eyes. They better get it done quickly, though, because training camp will be coming soon, and it'll be an afterthought.
And we've seen that so many times before, Anthony. Appreciate the call. I'm with you. I mean, I thought we had a legitimate chance here to be talking about the Pirates playing meaningful baseball in August and September, and, you know, you were going to have a situation where the Steelers get started, but the Pirates are kind of still very much in the conversation. Your Sundays are split watching, you know, the Pirates on the iPad and the Steelers on the TV or however you do it. But instead, this is now, I mean, it's trending towards just another Pirates season. And this one seemed avoidable. This one seemed like it shouldn't happen. You want to talk about previous seasons? Payrolls down, you know, bottom 5, bottom 3 in baseball. Young team, not really going anywhere. Lineup looks like it's, you know, more cut out to play for the Washington Wild Things and the Pittsburgh Pirates at times. No offense to the Wild Things. But, I mean, now we're talking about a team that has the bodies. Like, they have the dudes. They got the Jimmies and the Joes. What they don't seem to have right now is the X's and the O's. I mean, they just... And look, I get it. Like, they need to make moves in the bullpen. We'll talk about that plenty, what they can do, what they should do. Colin Beasley's going to join us at 9 o'clock from the Post-Gazette. Maybe we'll get into that, some options for them as, you know, we get closer and closer to the deadline. But, you know, Jared Jones can't go 4 2/3 innings. Paul Skeens has lost 8 straight starts. The Pirates have lost 8 straight starts in a row in which Paul Skeens has towed the rubber. That can't happen. at the end of the day, when you come into this Pirates season, you're thinking every time Paul Skeens touches the mound, we're going to win that baseball game. Like that's your mentality. And instead it's become Paul Skeens is pitching, they're going to lose. I mean, who would have thought that would be the case? And it's not that Paul Skeens has been disastrously bad, though I do want to talk about some of the things that we're hearing and seeing with Paul Skeens. But he certainly hasn't been as good as he was last year. He certainly hasn't consistently put them in positions to win games like he did a year ago. Let's go grab another call. Let's go to Kevin in Beaver Falls next on the Fan. Hi, Kevin.
Hey,
Kevin.
Josh.
Hey,
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, man. You know, at the beginning of this season, I was so excited. We got offensive help. We were hitting the ball. We're still hitting the ball pretty well. I mean, the obvious problems we talk about every day is the bullpen. But I think you said a lot just a few years when the players themselves just lately are not getting it done.
Yeah, I know, and I think that's valid. Like I think, and Kevin, thanks for the call. I think it's valid to criticize the players. And look, I just talked about, is Donnie Kelly losing the clubhouse? Has Ben Cherington done enough? Has his team invested enough through ownership? Like, those are all valid points to be made here, and there's accuracy and legitimacy to all of them. But at the same time, go get outs, man. Like, Gregory Soto is not some young pup. He's not some new kid on the block that hasn't been there. He's 31 years old. He's pitched in leverage situations before. He's been, and maybe this isn't the right place for him. I'm not arguing that. I'm not denying that they shouldn't look to upgrade this team in some way in the bullpen. Like, they definitely should. But go get outs. And that's where I think Donnie Kelly maybe needs to get a little tougher here. This is where Donnie Kelly, who I think is well liked, I think this is where you kind of got to go be the jerk a little bit here. I think instead of the excuse making and just saying, we just got to be better in this, like, maybe at some point here you got to try to crack the emotional fragility of this team. If these guys are truly as emotionally fragile as they appear to be, maybe you just got to go hammer them a little bit. Maybe you got to toughen them up a tad. Maybe guys like Jared Jones who scoff at media members asking if he might pitch out of the bullpen and act like he is just so above that, despite the fact that he really hasn't done all that much of anything as a professional. Guys like Carmen Majinski who quit on the team. I can't emphasize that enough. A guy quit on his teammates and was welcomed back. Like, maybe the manager needs to come down and say, you know what? Blank you. We're using you how we want to use you. If you don't like it, that's your problem. But if you ain't about winning, we don't want you here. And I asked this question and I open it up to you this morning, 412-928-9370. Does it appear that this is a lost clubhouse or a clubhouse on the verge of being lost? Is it cracking? Is it fracturing? I think it's a very, very valid question to have this morning after what we saw once again last night. Rich in Bethel Park is next on the Fan. Hi, Rich.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. What's going on?
I just have a couple of comments, and then I'll hang up, and you can give me your take on it. But
go for it.
I'm a Pirate fan all my life. I pitched myself for 28 years, and from little league all the way up. But I'm going to tell you right now, we had one of the deadliest lineups the first month of the season. Every team was watching us, and every team was getting nervous pitching against the lineup that he had. Mm-hmm. The only thing is wrong with this team, and I know you're not going to agree with me because I like Kelly personally as a person, but you cannot win changing the lineup every day and changing pitchers every inning. You cannot win, and it's proven by the last three managers. And that came from not only me. I got that advice from Jim Leland 3 years ago when he was at the stadium. And I'm just telling you the truth. We had one of the best lineups that I've seen in 35, 40 years, and I was so excited all year long. And then after that first month when we was in first place, literally, and we was like 5, 6 games above 500, he started messing with the lineup.
Rich, they scored 7 runs last night.
No. You're not understanding what I'm trying to say. You cannot change pitchers every inning, and you cannot change the lineup every day. You must put.
But the lineup's not the issue right now, Rich. And
the lineup is the issue now because
they scored 7 runs last night. They scored 4 runs the game before that, 5 the game before that, 11 the game before that. They're third in OPS in baseball behind the Dodgers and the Yankees. I am listening to what you're saying. You're saying, Rich, I am understanding what you're saying, but you're saying that the lineup, you just said the lineup is a problem. It's not.
It is a problem. It is a problem.
They're scoring runs. Isn't that the point of the lineup?
You got to put the same lineup out there.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Change. Boom, boom, boom.
They scored 7 runs last night with a different lineup than they had the game before.
Okay. You don't understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
We'll never win. Quit blaming the players. He's taking the heart out of the players. It's no wonder why they're aggravated. Go pull the players aside and say, this is driving me crazy. I don't know who's in the lineup. I don't know who's playing. I don't know. Every day they go and they don't know what the hell is doing. Believe me, I love the Pirates. I have nothing personally against Kelly, personally, but he is no manager. He cannot change the lineup every day. He can't be a king and go out there and embarrass the best pitcher in baseball and yank him out of the game with 2 outs and somebody's on base. You can't do that. That tears the heart out of a pitcher, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. He's doing it every game. Hey, I'm proving it right now. They're up the creek with a paddle. They should have never changed pitchers last night. They would have won the game. They should have never changed pitchers the day before. He pulls them out, changes the pitchers, and they beat us.
Well, it's not like Jared Jones was good last night.
For what it's worth, but I know.
I mean, Jared Jones wasn't good last night. He wasn't.
Wait a minute. You're missing what I'm saying, please. You're just missing it, what I'm saying.
I'm not missing. I'm listening to every word you're saying, Rich. Stop saying that I'm not listening to you or not understanding what you're saying. I am. I'm disagreeing with what you're saying.
Well,
there's a difference.
Yeah, but just because you're
all right, Rich, thanks for the call. Let's have a point here. Just because somebody disagrees with you, that doesn't mean that they don't understand what you're saying. It means that they think that you're wrong. The lineup's not a problem right now. They scored 7 runs last night. Oh, you're moving people out of the lineup. They scored 7 runs last night. Only the Yankees and the Dodgers have a better OPS in baseball than the Pittsburgh Pirates. What are we talking about here? If you want to make criticism of Donnie Kelly, that's fine. I'm here for that. I'll welcome that. But let's make them valid criticisms. Let's talk about the fact that the team appears to be, in disarray in many ways, and the bullpen's not good. And if you want to criticize bullpen usage, that's fine. Like I can get on board with that conversation. But at the end of the day, the numbers show that they are a good enough offense to win games. You talked in the first, what felt like 10 minutes of that phone call, talking about how great the lineup was in the early part of the season. They're third in OPS in baseball. They're hitting the ball. They've had some moments where they've been a bit up and down, but every team goes through that. Generally speaking, this has been an offense that has been good enough to be a playoff team, if not a division winner, if not even deeper than that. They hit the ball just fine. They're third in OPS. I think they're top 10 in home runs this year. They're a good offense. They're third in average. I mean, let's keep the criticisms where they are. And talking about changing the lineup because 40 years ago they sent the same lineup out there every single day no matter what, and they do things differently now. And by the way, every team bounces around the lineup. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that they need to have as much lineup fluctuation as they possibly do, but also keep in mind right now that they're without Connor Griffin. They have been without Connor Griffin, recently came back, of course, and they've not had Cruz. When you lose 2 key guys from your lineup, you're going to have fluctuation in the lineup. You have to play the numbers perhaps a little bit more when you lose guys due to injury. I'm not a huge analytics guy, but I mean, sometimes you got to move guys around in a lineup depending on the pitcher that you're facing, depending on how guys are hitting, their averages, etc. Fan Text Line is brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. We have a bunch of you on the line. We're going to get to you on the other side of the break. We'll take a very short break here and then come back with callers on the other side, 412-928-9370. Short break, and then we're back after this taking more of your calls on what just was another debacle last night for the Pirates. They lose 9-7 after having a 7-6 lead with 2 outs in the ninth. They lose again. We'll take your calls on the other side, 412-928-9370. I'm Josh Roundtree. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
I'm Ty Polk with your Fan Headlines. Game 3 of the Pittsburgh Pirates versus the Cincinnati Reds is Sunday, first pitch at 1:35. Mitch Keller takes the mound for Pittsburgh, and Brady Singer will start for Cincinnati. The North Shore Tavern leadoff show begins at noon, leading into Pirates Insider at 12:35. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet. More at 937thefan.com.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Get the latest on Pittsburgh sports from anywhere with the Odyssey app. Listen to shows and Pirate games live. Check out our exclusive interviews and content anytime. Download the Odyssey app now and never miss a minute. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Here's a World Soccer Championship preview.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. The round of 32 is set to kick off in Southern California with 2 teams who have never made it past the group stage. It'll be an historic appearance for South Africa and tournament co-host Canada, who both finished runners-up in their groups. But now it's lose and go home, while the winner will face either the Netherlands or Morocco in the round of 16 on July 4th in Houston. I'm Fernando Carlos.
I'm Larry Kelly from the injury firm of LGKG. When our fellow Western Pennsylvanians suffer terrible injuries, tragic losses, and immense financial hardships through no fault of their own, who fights for them, Joe?
We do, Larry. That's where LGKG comes in, holding the negligent accountable for the pain and suffering they cause.
History, trust, and results.
And success. More than 200 million recovered and over 10,000 clients served. That's the LGKG story.
At LGKG, we stop at nothing for justice. At LGKG, we try cases, and insurance companies know it.
BetMGM Sportsbook is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Log in every day for your chance to win. Pick an area of the strike zone and take your swing. If you get a hit, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet. Just log into your BetMGM Sportsbook account and visit your promotion section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Swing for the Fences every day with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Pennsylvania only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. Additional terms and restrictions may apply.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a data analyst.
Hey, what model did you use for these quarterly projections?
Astrology. If Mercury's in retrograde, sales tank. If Venus is rising, we crush Q4.
You built our revenue forecast off horoscopes?
Yeah, the Zodiac never lies.
This is your job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
84 Lumber has been building America for 70 years. Whether you're a homeowner starting your first project or a pro on the job, 84 Lumber offers the kind of personalized expertise you won't find in a big box store. They're more than just lumber. From windows and doors to siding, trim, and decking, 84 Lumber has the materials you need to get it done right. With 14 locations across Pittsburgh, there's one near you. Visit 84lumber.com to find your store. 84 Lumber, your hometown building partner for 70 years.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Future you wants to have fun on the 4th. So get set in one stop at Target's 4th of July sale. Get 40% off women's dresses, skirts, and shorts. And for the kiddos, shorts are 20% off. What's a celebration without something tasty? Frozen treats are BOGO 25% off. Plus, you save 30% on soda 12 packs when you buy 3. Have fun all weekend long. Shop Target's 4th of July sale. And Saturday, restrictions apply.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Looking for the region's premier golf destination? You'll find it at Old Stonewall Golf Club. Their award-winning course layout is impressive and offers spectacular views. Visit oldstonewall.com to book your tee times this season and see why the best course is just minutes away.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 19 in Peters Township. I'm Josh Roundtree in on this Sunday morning, and boy, do we have some Buccos talk about. Pirates lose last night 9-7. If you did not see what happened, here's a bit of a recap for you. They got behind 2-0, then they jumped ahead 3-2, and then they fell behind, and then they came back, and then they had a 7-6 lead going to the ninth inning, and on came Gregory Soto, and Gregory Soto put 2 guys on, and then Eugenio Suarez, who almost joined the Pirates, or was at least in consideration for the Pirates once upon a time earlier this offseason. Well, he hit a opposite field 3-run homer, and the Reds won 9-7. And now the Pirates are under 500. Stop me if you've heard that before. 41-42. Jared Jones, who started the game last night, and Endy Rodriguez, who was his starting catcher last night, got into a verbal argument in the dugout. Afterwards, Jones said, "We were just trying to get on the same page." Endy Rodriguez said, "No, that's not the case. We were arguing about something unrelated to the game." The Pirates had a guy quit on the team earlier this year, and Carmen Mlodzinski. They had another starting pitcher, Jared Jones, who scoffed at a reporter when asked if he would potentially pitch out of the bullpen when he made his way back to the major leagues following his injury and surgery from, a year and a half ago. And I asked the question of you this morning, does it appear like there is control over this clubhouse right now? 412-928-9370. I'm not saying that anybody needs to be fired right now, but I am saying that some changes need to be made in the way that this team is managed and run, and just the overall mindset of this organization and of the players within the organization. Because there appears to be, I don't know, an arrogance or a sense of entitlement, particularly within this pitching staff right now. They are not what they think they are. They were good last year. They should be good this year, but they're not. And it's time to maybe change the attitude a little bit. Let's grab your calls again. 412-928-9370. Let's go to Josh in Clarion next on The Fan. Hi, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up?
So I don't know. I mean, I've been a Pirates fan, I suppose, a long time, and we know, like, we get a shot every 10, 15, 20 years. We've got a team. We've got an offense that's going to score. We haven't been able to say that in a long time. It's time to make moves. It's time to go into desperation mode and start pulling levers and see what's going to work. We may not get this chance again for another 20 years. When it's time to go. I thought that, in the run in the 2010s, like, make that big move because you're not going to get another chance. We're starved for a winner. We want the Pirates to win, so let's go do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that means that and thanks for the call, Josh. I think that means that their GM needs to get aggressive. I mean, the reality, too, is you're looking at a situation where we might not have baseball next year. I mean, it might be a shortened season. It might not be any season at all. And you heard the comments that Paul Skeens made. By the way, I think that's another area perhaps where this team has lost focus a little bit, talking about, salary caps and things like that, and Skeens trying to maybe maximize his potential earnings. And look, he was asked a question, he answered a question. I can't slam the guy necessarily for that, but I know there's a lot of things that seem to be at play right now that are distracting the Pirates from what they need to have their minds focused on. And I just think the error for margin with the Pirates is so thin. I've thought that since the beginning of the season. That, A, because their division early was really, really competitive. B, because they are still, a bottom half team when it comes to payroll. That they don't have the margin for error to be mentally fixated or mentally distracted by things that are not involved with winning. And I think that's what we have right now. And they need somebody, whether that's, a change of pace from Donnie Kelly, whether that's, going and getting a veteran or somebody to come in and maybe grab this group by the collar and say, hey, we got to lock in here a little bit more. They don't strike me as a team with particularly fabulous leadership right now, whether that's player-driven, whether that's coach-driven. They don't seem like a team that is particularly led well at this point in time. Not that they have been horrendous. They've had their moments. I said it earlier, they're third in OPS in baseball. They're hitting the ball. Their bullpen has significantly let them down. And it feels like every time they start to get some momentum, boom, it's gone. And that's an issue. Let's go to Hector in Tampa. Hi, Hector.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I think they need a relief pitching from the outside. 1 second. I think Jared Jones wants Davis to catch for him because he's a good friend with Paul Skeens. I think that's my opinion. And I think he should be in the bullpen instead of starting pitcher. And the third thing is, I think too, why Majewski's in the dugout with the hoodie, with no uniform. Why he's not in the bullpen to be ready for to come out to pitch. And last night he couldn't pitch last night, but he was in the dugout, chewing gum, chit-chatting with the starting pitchers, and he should be in the bullpen. I don't know why he's not in the bullpen.
Yeah, Hector, that's a great point, man, and thanks for the call. Appreciate it. A lot of good points made in there. Good call. Yeah, get your ass to the bullpen, man. We might need you. What if a starter goes down in the first inning and we need a long relief guy? Well, that's what Carmen Majewski's made for, right? He wants to be a starter. Well, but they don't want to ruffle the feathers. They don't want to hurt his feelings, it seems like. And that's what's important here. Let's not hurt feelings. It's almost like the Pirates need, I hate to make this comparison because I don't care for this guy, but they need a little bit of like John Tortorella involved here. Right? Like they need the guy that's going to tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I don't know that they necessarily have that right now. I don't know that they have had or have the guy that is going to be the jerk. And I'm not saying that teams necessarily always win with managers who are like that. I'm not saying that that's a tried and true way to get results. But it seems like they need somebody to say, you know what, Jared Jones, you don't dictate what happens here. You don't dictate lineup decisions. You don't dictate who catches for you. Even you, Paul Skeens, you don't dictate what we do with this roster. And I think there has been some of that. I think Carmen Mlodzinski, you don't dictate where you get to sit during the game. You don't dictate when you get to pitch. We use you as we see fit. We pay you and make the decisions for you. And if you don't like that, you can go on the restricted list and not pitch for the rest of the season. We'll see how much money you get after that. Good luck with that strategy, pal. They've done enough favor giving with this team. Let's grab a couple more calls before we head to a break. Let's go to Alex in Steubenville. Hi, Alex.
Hi, how you doing today?
Good.
Hey, my opinion is one guy's getting a pass. Our pitching coach. They fired the guy that had a successful pitching staff last year, replaced him with a guy that's done nothing this year.
Yep.
And I mentioned this a while back. I think a lot of the woes the rest of the team is feeling is the pressure they're getting from the abject failure in the bullpen.
No question. No question. And Bill Murphy, I think, and thanks for the call, Alex. Bill Murphy, I think, has to own some of this, man. Like, at the end of the day, this was a team that was 7th in baseball in ERA last year. 7th. And as we sit here on, June 28th, the Pirates are now 15th. I mean, that tells you what you need to know. The bullpen's a mess. They went from what should have been an elite pitching staff in baseball. That was the thought, right? They would be elite when it comes to starting pitching. And pitching in general, they were supposed to be a very good pitching team. They fired the pitching coach who had them in the top 10. The Pittsburgh Pirates, in the top 10 of a statistical category in all of baseball. They were in the top 10 in baseball in pitching. And they fired the pitching coach. And look what's happened. Let's go to Dan in Ohio, next on the fan. Hi, Dan.
Hey, good morning, guys. I think there's definitely some fractions going on the team and that. I would like to know if Mlodzinski has told Kelly and the coaching staff, give me the ball in the 9th inning. Give me the ball in the 9th inning. Mlodzinski, throughout his career, has proven that he does good through the first 9 batters. That was the knock why they weren't putting him as a starter all the time, that he was only a 3-4 inning starter in that. Give them the ball, and like Hector just said, if he's in the bullpen, if you go to a game, you watch at the beginning of the game, the whole bullpen walks out together. He should be one of the players walking out with him in that. And Jones and Rodriguez, if I were the Pirates, Skeens next start, I'd have Rodriguez catch him for him. I think Skeens doesn't want the controversy, but did he say that he wants Davis as a personal catcher? I don't know. It's never been proven or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the thought, Dan, and thanks for the call. By the way, a lot of good Anats thrown in there. Dan from Ohio, but certainly a Yinzer with the 3 Anats thrown in there. I love that. That's a great question. And first of all, the answer to that question about Mlodzinski wanting the ball in the 9th, I'm going to say the answer to that is absolutely no. I mean, if the guy quit on the team because they took him out of the starting rotation. He quit. I mean, he quit on the team. There's no way around that. We can sugarcoat that. You can say this or that or whatever. He needed time away, blah, blah, blah. He quit. He quit on the team. He's a quitter. And he quit on the team, and now he is pitching in moments that are comfortable for him so that he can maximize his contractual value for the next team. And the Pirates are complicit in letting this happen because they have been utterly spineless when it comes to the egos that are beginning to take over their pitching staff and unrightfully earned egos at this point. Also, this whole thing with Davis needing to be here, Henry Davis needing to be here because he's Paul Skeens' personal catcher. Has Paul Skeens been that good to deserve that? And Paul Skeens is getting worse. Paul Skeens' velocity is down. His ERA is up. The Pirates have lost 8 games in a row in which Paul Skeens has started. At some point, there needs to be, I don't know, maybe some humility here. And maybe humility needs to come by somebody actually getting up in the face of somebody and getting a little tough with them and saying, hey, you don't dictate what we do here. You're a player. You're going to go play. And if we say that we want this guy catching in this game, then this guy's going to catch in this game. And you're going to throw the ball into his glove the same way that you would throw the ball into Henry Davis's glove. Hopefully you throw it better because you haven't been all that good of late. Chris in the city, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
I have a crazy stat for you guys. After 7 innings, if the game just ended, the Pirates would be 55-27.
Yep.
How crazy would that be?
Yep.
And how many games that the Pirates in the bullpen have just blown leads, and it's so frustrating being a fan. And it's crazy that we let Oscar Marine go for this Bill Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
It's ludicrous. Something needs to change.
It is. And look, and thanks for the call, Chris. I mean, you can allow for, you can allow for some games getting blown. You could look at this team and say, hey, look, their strength isn't their bullpen, but they got to at least keep it together. I mean, you can't be this horrifically, disastrously bad. And that's what they've been. They've been a complete and utter disaster when it comes to relief pitching. And their starting pitching, to be honest, hasn't been all that great either. I mean, Paul Skeens hasn't been that great. And I want to talk about that a little bit more on the other side of the break as we start to hammer down on this Pirates team and what's gone wrong. I'll keep the phone lines open as well, 412-928-9370. What's the biggest problem with the Pirates right now? I'll tell you this. I don't necessarily think it's as simple as saying, well, it's the bullpen. I think that they have a team right now that has lost its focus, that has not maximized the opportunity when it comes to looking at the one thing that should drive every team, and that's winning. They don't look like a team whose primary objective, whose only objective, let me rephrase that, their only objective is to win baseball games and do what it takes to win baseball games. They don't look like a team that is hell-bent on winning baseball at any cost. And that's a problem. It's a problem with the manager. It's a problem with the GM. It's a problem throughout everybody's culpable in this. They don't look like a team that is 100% locked in on the primary goal, the primary initiative of every single team that wins, and that's winning. They don't look like they're ready for it. That's a problem. But I'm curious to get your thoughts. 412-928-9370. That's the number. We'll take more of your calls when we come back. I'm Josh Roundtree. Good to be with you here on this Sunday morning. The Fan and the Pittsburgh Pirates want to visit your teams in action for our youth baseball and softball showcase. Parents and coaches, send an email to us at youthsports@937thefan.com to register your 12 and under team, and 93.7 The Fan may make a stop at your field. It's brought to you by Keystone Custom Apparel. Details at 937thefan.com. And Fan Weather is brought to you by Secure Money Advisors. Looking to retire soon? Let Secure Money Advisors get your retirement on track. We have a chance of rain this afternoon. Some hot temperatures expected across the work week, potentially into the upper 90s. It's going to be a hot one. Let's hope the Pirates heat up. 412-928-9370. That's the number if you want to reach us. I'm Josh Roundtree here on The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Reds were 9-7 winners over the Pirates yesterday. The series finale is 1:35 today. Mitch Keller against Brady Singer. Coverage on The Fan at noon, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, go to 937thefan.com.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey sports station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Unlock the savings at Boost Mobile and save up to $600 a year. I've been scouting these big carriers for a minute now, and I've seen them pull the same play 1,000 times. They promise you the world, then hit you with a price hike right when the game gets tight. But Boost Mobile, their $25 a month unlimited wireless plan is the most consistent player on the floor. No contracts, no price hikes. Unlock the savings today at boostmobile.com/unlock. Based on average annual single line payment of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile customers compared to 12 months of the Boost Mobile unlimited wireless plan as of January 2026. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com.
The summer sales drive starts now at Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi in North Huntington. We're pushing all summer to hit record sales, and that means bigger savings for you. Shop our new Mitsubishi SUVs starting under $30,000, like the 2026 Outlander with a premium interior, advanced safety, and affordable third-row seating. And ask us about our $3,000 push, pull, or tow trade assistance.
Your deal.
Your way.
What a great day.
At Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi, North Huntington. Call 724-995-3658 for offer details.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. They still gave me a medal. I don't want a reward for doing. I want a reward for dominating. Like Daily Prize Matcher on Bet365. I play for free and win real rewards, like up to $5,000 in cash weekly. Unlike that joker in denim. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply.
Catastrophic injuries bring emotional strain, physical pain, and financial stress. You don't have to face it alone. Ogg, Murphy, and Perkoski will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call 412-391-FIRM today. Ogg, Murphy, Perkoski, the firm. We're all in.
The summer sales drive starts now at Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi in the North Hills. We're pushing all summer to hit record sales, and that means bigger savings for you. You choose. Get 0% APR financing across select new Mitsubishi models. And every new Mitsubishi includes 2 years of limited maintenance standard.
Your deal.
Your way.
What a great day.
At Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi in the North Hills. Call 412-453-8053 for offer details.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Baker's Waterproofing is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
For 250 years, America has been more than a place. It's been a promise, a story of courage, hope, and dreams. And through it all, local TV and radio broadcasters have been there, telling the story of America, bringing truth to light. Broadcasters tell the story of who we are and who we aspire to be. We are America's storytellers. We are broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GO to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code
GO to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GO to borrow up to $10,000.
Celebrate America's 250-year anniversary with Prism Fireworks. Visit prismfireworks.com.
God bless America from PrismFireworks.com.
On your job site, downtime isn't just an inconvenience, it's a deal breaker. You need equipment that works as hard as you do and a partner who has your back. Experience the new Case difference at Case Power and Equipment of Pennsylvania. Proudly named the 2025 Case Dealer of the Year. Whether you are looking for the latest iron or need expert service to keep your fleet in the dirt, their pros are ready. With thousands of parts in stock, they're here to ensure you're always running at peak efficiency. Case Power and Equipment of Pennsylvania. Because with Case Construction, together, we won't back down. Here's Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan's Fan About Town. There are jobs, and then there are careers that make you excited to get out of bed. West Shore Home is hiring design consultants. Unlimited earning potential, 5-day work week, 20 years of bringing happiness to every home. Learn more at westshorehome.com/careers. Family-owned D'Amelio Heating and Cooling. D'Amelio's services heating, cooling, commercial refrigeration, and tap beer systems. They service all brands and provide 24-hour service. D'Amelio's is a Carrier Factory certified dealer. D'Amelio's Heating and Cooling. Call 724-838-9360. Wet, moldy, or musty basement? Call Joe the Waterproofer at Veteran Basement Waterproofing in Bethel Park. 724-217-0677 for a free estimate and lifetime guarantee on all basement repairs. For more information, visit 937thefan.com.
Your hometown building partner since 1956, 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
It's the summer sticker sales event at South Hills Kia. The 2026 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive, just $229 a month. And the all-new 2026 Kia K4 LXS, only $209 a month. Top trade values are happening right now. Don't miss it. 24-month leases, $3,499 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year, plus tax and title. First payment due at signing. Not all qualify. No security deposit required. Offer ends July 6, 2026. South Hills Kia. Deals like this don't last. Visit southhillskia.net for more details.
Have you noticed that every service company these days is owned by some giant corporation with zero personality and no personal touch? Yeah, no thanks. Gherkin Roofing is still family-owned, truly local, and when you call, a human answers. One with a pulse and probably a Pittsburgh accent. They do roofing, siding, gutters, and win awards year after year for their customer service. So if you want a contractor that picks up the phone, shows up, and treats you like a neighbor, because they are one, call The Pickle. Gherkin Roofing, always local and friendly, 724-515-5551.
BetMGM Sportsbook is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Log in every day for your chance to win. Pick an area of the strike zone and take your swing. If you get a hit, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet. Just log into your BetMGM Sportsbook account and visit your promotion section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Swing for the Fences every day with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Pennsylvania only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. Additional terms and restrictions may apply.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
All right, Joel Nelson for Fan Headlines. Pirates yesterday fell to the Reds 9-7. Game 3 of the series will be this afternoon, 1:35. From PNC Park, it is Mitch Keller on the mound against Brady Singer for Cincinnati. Coverage on The Fan at noon, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. More headlines, 937thefan.com. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
Good morning to you. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Fan text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder & Associates, personal injury law firm, where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. I mentioned this off the top of the show. Myself and Sean, don't call me Seth Meyers, one of our famous part-time producers here, we were hanging out last night, and I was talking about some of the things I wanted to talk about on the show, but the game was going on, and some of those things kind of went to the back burner. I really wanted to get into the Brendan Sorsby situation, but boy, it feels like there's an appetite for some dissection on what happened and what is happening with the Pittsburgh Pirates right now, so maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. I did want to revisit some of the post-game comments from last night, and I threw this question out there, 412-928-9370, if you want to hop in. I'm getting this sense right now that the Pirates are, I don't know if it's fully there, but it is verging towards being this sort of fractured clubhouse. Maybe fractured isn't the right word. Maybe that implies that there's some sort of division from one side or the other. But it does feel like it's a bit broken in some way. It does feel like there are guys who have their own set of goals and initiatives, and they don't really fall in line with the master plan here of winning as many baseball games as possible. I don't think it can be said enough that Carmen Mlodzinski quit on the team. I might say it every 5 minutes for the rest of the season that I'm here hosting. That they let a guy quit on the team, and then they brought him back, and he's sitting in the dugout, yucking it up with the other starters, even though he's not a starter, because that's just where he'd rather be, and he's more comfortable there. Donnie Kelly talked after the game last night. Could have been a great time to come down really, really hard on his team. To maybe start to really, really become a touch more of a jerk. And I'm not saying every guy's capable of doing this, but sometimes there needs to be a point where sometimes you got to show it a little bit more. So let's see. Let's listen into Donnie Kelly from last night.
Man, I don't know. Some really close pitches. The one that Ellie challenged was less than 1/10 of an inch down. Overturned that. I think that made really good pitch on Stewart. That's a tough matchup. Stewart hits lefties really well. Got the double play. And then I think the walk to Bleday obviously was not ideal, and Suarez got a 2-2 hit, put the barrel on it, and snuck it out. I don't think anything outside of, it seems like when we've gotten bid, it's been command, walking guys and having, not just pertaining to him, I think just in general. Free passes will come back to bite you.
What did you think of Jared?
I thought he threw the ball pretty well. Again, velo was there, off speed was there, slider I thought was really good. Changeup I didn't think was as consistent as it has been. Andy threw a couple good ones in there, and did a good job. Yeah, we've got to get better in games like that. We have to find a way to win them, and that comes in a lot of different ways. I thought defense tonight wasn't necessarily sharp. We made some errors, had some opportunities to make some plays, and it was really sharp when you look at the plays that Brian Reynolds going into the gap, Lau dive and play, double play on Ellie. We made some really good plays too. We just need to find a way.
I know a couple of wild pitches a block, but there's some where Rodriguez and Jones not on the same page.
Yeah, I'm not sure there. I'll get caught up on what's going on there after I get back. That was unbelievable. One pitch, and what power he has to be able to go the other way like that and see one pitch on the day and put us up, give us a chance to win the game there. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I think that the stuff has looked good. I thought that there was one outing that he didn't seem to have very good command. But other than that, it seems like he's had pretty good command. And, I think that is just for us and planning and getting him back up to speed, it'll be pretty consistent in how we're handling him.
And the one thing I'll say with Kelly here is I don't want a manager to live with the highs and the lows emotionally too much. But I do think there comes a time where those post-game interviews need to maybe not sound like that, where you go from a little bit less of the aw shucks vibe to legitimately ticked off. And maybe that resonates a little bit more with your players at that point. Maybe that locks them in perhaps a little bit. I don't know. Maybe guys don't even listen to what the manager says, but that mindset, I would think, in the press conference probably goes out a little bit to the team too much. And I don't know. In my opinion, there were some things he said in there that I agree with, and there's some things in there that I wish he would maybe come down a little bit harder on. He starts off talking about, some close pitches and, threw a really good pitch here and, then but there was that walk. And it comes off as not harsh enough. And you don't want to break guys. I get that. But there comes a time where you need to poke and prod in the right way. And this is a guy who comes from the Jim Leland tree, right? I don't think Jimmy Leland ever had a problem confronting guys and being the jerk. Ask Barry Bonds all about that. And I'm not saying that mentality alone has caused some sort of fracture or break in this clubhouse, but it does seem like that this team is not completely locked in, and they're a little bit lost as a clubhouse right now. And that has to come back slightly on the manager. I don't know that you can just boil it down to the Pirates' problem is bullpen. The Pirates' problem is lackluster starting pitching. The Pirates' problem is payroll. The Pirates' problem is Griffin and Cruz injuries. Those are all things that certainly go into this. But part of the problem to me right now, and I think a big part of the problem, is that these guys, they look like they have undeserved egos here that are maybe getting in the way of winning. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on that at 412-928-9370. This has not become a very likable team. Despite the fact that they've been actually one of the better teams that we've seen here in the last decade, they're not exactly a likable group right now. So let's grab some calls. 412-928-9370. Let's go to Paul in Washington up first. Hi, Paul.
How are you there, young fella? Let's get right to the ball game here. I'm going to tell you something. I want to hear somebody rip somebody a new one. I'm sick of the Derek frickin' Shelton, Don Kelly clone. Don Kelly's in over his skis. He hasn't got a clue. Who the heck is this Bill Murphy guy? Wow, he walks like a damn turtle, but he's not getting me any wins. Stop lollygagging around, let these guys run the daggone clubhouse. You're the manager. Throw a set, Don Kelly. Act like you got some passion and rip these guys a new one. Jerry Jones, if you don't want to be in the bullpen, we'll send you somewhere where you wish the heck you were never at. You guys work for the Pirates. We don't work for you. Paul Skeens, you're a little bit overrated, young fella. You think your crap don't stink? Well, I got news for you. You lost 8 in a row. Stoppers and shutdown pitchers don't lose 8 in a row. If you don't want to be a Pittsburgh Pirate, there's the door. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord splits you. Have a good day, young whippersnapper.
Thank you, Paul. I pretty much knew we were going to get there, but it never ceases to surprise you at the same time. There were points in there made, some of them better than others, but a lot of them, I think, kind of in the appropriate and correct vein. There needs to be some toughness. I think the first thing he said was, at some point, you want to hear somebody just rip somebody else a new one. And I like that. At some point, you need to be the bad guy here. And I think the one thing that we need to keep in mind is this is the first full season that Donnie Kelly has been a major league manager. Not that he is without experience, not that he is without training, not that he has not learned from the right people, but and I'm not excuse making here. I'm just saying I think we're seeing some of the effects of a guy that has not done this a lot in the past. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you're not used to being the bad guy. This is what happens when you've been on a staff for the last few years that I don't really think had the bad guy on it. You know, Derek Shelton, I don't think was enough of a jerk at times. And maybe we're getting a little bit of that same type of vibe here from Kelly. I'm not saying all is lost on Kelly. I'm not saying that Kelly needs to be sent, sent his walking papers here. I'm not suggesting that. I think that there are some things that Donnie Kelly, look at the improvement of this offense. They've done really well. And I think that's a valid compliment, but there's more to it right now than that, and the team is not, from a wins and losses standpoint, up to their expectations. Joel, do you have something?
Doesn't it seem like in his post-game pressers, he's too mellow at times?
Yeah.
And then doesn't it feel like, as well, it doesn't seem like he takes any of these losses personally? You get that vibe at all?
I do.
Or at least not enough. He's not taking enough losses personally.
And again, I think when you talk about 162-game season, you can't live and die with the ups and downs. You can't, being in the golf world like I am most of my time, talking about Wyndham Clark last week winning the U.S. Open, and a lot of the talk was, well, he rides the highs too high and he rides the lows too low. When he's not going well, he gets encapsulated by the bad. And when he's doing well, he's happiest guy in the world. You know who else is like that? Joe Starkey, when he plays golf.
Yes.
Joe Starkey is like that on the golf course. If you ever play golf with Joe, if he hits a bad shot, it's going to consume his mind for 3 holes, and he can't get over it. And he hits a good shot, and he's like the happiest man in the world until he hits a bad one. And I told him, I said, Joe, you hit a bad shot, you move on to the next one, and you hope that that's a good one. You hit a good shot, all right, I hit a good shot, now I got to hit another good shot. So I'm okay with the flat line-ish, but you got to have some peaks on that, and you got to have some valleys on that. You got to have a manager who walks in after a big win and is like, you know what, hell yeah, and is fist pumping and super pumped up about a big win. You got to know the moments for that. And then you have to have moments where, you lose a series when you have a 7-6 lead and you have guys fighting in the dugout, and the other thing in that Kelly clip, you got to come harder than, I got to get to the bottom of what happened there. I got to figure out what happened there with the Endy Rodriguez and Jared Jones fight in the dugout. That's not a let's kick the can down the road situation. That's a we can't have that, and those guys are going to know that they cannot do that. That is not who we are. That is not what we're going to be about. We're going to handle things internally. We're not going to let our emotions get the better of us out there in public. We can't let that happen. It can't, because what's going to happen now is, it's not going to be a story. And I'm not saying that everything they do needs to be a story. I get that. They have their own goals there, and they want their own narrative out there, and understandably so. But I would like the manager to come down harder on a young, brash pitcher who has not lived up to expectations, who has said some things that you're like, dude, you don't even deserve this. You don't have the right to say these things like Jared Jones has. And maybe dish out a little bit of humility by kind of going at him. 412-928-9370. Let's go to Steve and Shaler next on the Fan. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's going on?
I was just called Jared Jones. Who are you to question how Endy Rodriguez holds his glove? You give up 5 runs. You pitch 4 innings every night. You're an absolute joke to question. You don't come out and question somebody. You haven't done anything. So the problem is with this staff, there's no leadership. There is no leadership whatsoever. There's no desire from these guys. There's no A.J. Burnett to hold this staff together. These guys, they're prima donnas, and it's a joke. Come out, pitch 7 innings one time, and try to win some games, because right now you guys pitch 4 and 5 innings, you give up 4 runs, and then we blame the bullpen. Have a good day.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the first point's a great one. Jared Jones, who are you? I mean, the reality is right now, Jared Jones is a guy who has a 5.76 ERA. He couldn't escape the 4th inning last night. You look back at his recent outings, 3 innings against Colorado, gave up a run. They lost an 11-2 game to the Athletics. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings. The Dodgers, he went 4 innings. Houston, 4 innings, pitched well in that game. His first outing this year, Minnesota, he gave up 5 runs in 4 1/3. Like, he's not done anything right now to warrant the brashness in any way. Let's go to Jeff and Plum up next. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You talked about the team, and I know things are different in professional sports, but what Pirate right now believes that their best financial years will be in Pittsburgh, or their best team accomplishments are going to be in Pittsburgh, or even be in Pittsburgh in 2-3 years?
Yeah, I mean, but what does that have to do with winning right now?
Because the whole team thing and doing what's best for the team, they're doing what's best for them.
Yeah, but look, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I mean, I've said some of that here on the show, and thanks for the call. It sounded like he was running while he was talking to us, which is impressive. I wouldn't be calling if I was running. I just couldn't. Like guys like Carmen Majinski, I think, fall into that category. Looking out for the team more than themselves. Or looking out for themselves more than the team. Not looking out for the team as much as themselves. I think there's some validity in there, but at the same time, that's where a manager has to come in and say, hey, look, like, if you don't want to be a part of this, then, you know, we'll lose without you. We'll lose with you, we'll lose without you. And the constant conversation here cannot come back to payroll. This team is equipped to win baseball games. They are. It hasn't been the case in the past. They still don't spend probably as much as they could or should. Those things can all be true. But this team is good enough to win. It has shown that it's good enough to win. It's shown that it has the capabilities to win. And we can't come back and say, well, guys, 2 years from now, they know they're not going to get a huge payday here, so why would they try hard? Well, because they're going to get a huge payday somewhere else. And, if you do your job here, eventually it will reverberate to your future. You got to get guys to buy in. John and Beaver next. Hi, John.
How you doing? Yeah, I'm going to give a majority of their mess to Cherington, and here's why. Year 7 of a rebuild, they are not even close to the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a joke. They should be right there after 7 years, and they're not close. The David Bednar trade was terrible. He was the glue of that bullpen. You traded him and got absolutely nothing back for him. That was a horrible trade. $5 million, and then you go out and sign Ozuna for $12 million. Another mistake by Cherington. They have nothing at AA or AAA in terms of relief pitching that can help them out. All the good prospects are at single A. Murph Gray and Seth Hernandez. There's nothing at AA or AAA. I'm hoping for this. I think they might win today and be 500. 25 of their next 25 games are against winning teams. They'll go 10 and 15 at best because they play the Brewers, the Braves, which they're not even in the same ballpark as them. Mm-hmm. And if by the end of July there'll be a joke, and they have to trade Lau, and they better get a king's ransom back for him because he is the huge trading chip. And I hope, truthfully, I do expect them to have a losing season because the next month's going to be a disaster. And hopefully that I will trigger in that Cherington is fired and they can start over and have these prospects at single A keep climbing. John, thanks for the call. You look at their road ahead here, too.
I think I heard this last night when I was listening to Zangrilli. The next 25 teams that they play, the next 25 games that they play, are like 500 or better. So there's not a lot of them. You look at the direct road ahead. They're at Philly this coming week. Philly's really turned their season around after just a mess of a start. They've really got things rolling there. Washington, after that, they're 500 so far. And then they close out the first half of the season at home against Milwaukee that right now is 50-30 and leading the division. So, yeah. This has the potential after this series of getting to be pretty bad. And I think the thing that's most frustrating about this is, and I brought up the Majinski thing earlier, they were 4 games over 500 when all the Majinski stuff went down. Since then, they're 5 games under 500. I mean, they have basically had a 9-game reversal in that stretch. And what's most frustrating about that is they've played teams like the A's, like Colorado, like the Reds, Miami. It's not like they've played good teams along the way as well. And not that all of those teams are bad, but they're also teams that if you're going to be a winning team, you need to win those series. And what they have done in that time has not been good enough. Swept by Atlanta, lose a series to the Dodgers. You can understand that because those are really, really good teams. But if you're going to be a good team, you got to go beat good teams. And then they're not even beating the teams that are, mediocre. They had the series win against Seattle, and I thought, all right, you win 11-1 and you win 5-1. You lost that close one 3-2 to start the series, a game that probably should have won. But then you come back and you win 2 after that, and you build a little momentum. And what happens after you build a little momentum in that series when you have a weekend series at home, late June, a real chance to kind of kick the tires, get things going, and you lose 6-4 to Cincinnati with your stud pitcher, or supposedly your stud pitcher, on the mound as he loses his 8th game in a row. Then you come back out the next night, you have a back-and-forth game, you rally back, you tie it, you take the lead, you have a chance to win. What happens? 2 men get put on base, 2 outs in the 9th, and a guy that's hitting 207 on the year sneaks out a 3-run homer on you. And boom. You go from the chance to really start to go into July feeling like you're in a position to make a run, at least at a wild card spot, and now you're just wondering, is this team even going to finish above 500? Mark in Fort Lauderdale next. Hi, Mark.
Great to talk to you as always, Josh. Wanted to say I understand the frustration with Donnie Kelly being the modern-day Chuck Tanner, always positive, maybe a little too positive on some sides. But what I think this team lacks is more. Ben Cherington should have had somebody that's like a captain type, a modern day Thurman Munson that takes enforcement, and the big red machine. They never had to worry because Joe Morgan took care of everything in the clubhouse. I just think this guy's lacking, like Greg Lloyd was for the Steelers. Things never got to Bill Cowher. It was just handled internally. The Penguins had guys like that. It just seems like the Pirates don't have a guy that's a stand-up guy that says he would walk up to Jared Jones and go, hey, that kind of behavior is not going to be acceptable here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark, and appreciate the call. I think there's a case for that. I said that earlier. I don't know that they have like that veteran leader. Like they need that guy that's going to come in and grab guys by the collar and the AJ Burnett types, the hold you accountable types. And I think it's magnified even more when you don't have the Pirates are not a high payroll team. They're not a team that has a wide margin for error. And I think even if you go back to 13 to 15, they had guys that were like that. They had the guys that led. They led by example, and they led with their words. They led with their actions. And you didn't want to tick those guys off. And right now, maybe it's just a reflection of society in general, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of leadership qualities in these young players. Paul Skeens could be that guy, but I don't know that's where he's at right now. And it's led now to a situation where this team just they are lacking the fire that I think you need to be a winning team. We got to get to a quick break. We'll take your calls on the other side, 412-928-9370. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Route 19 in Peters Township. I'm Josh Roundtree. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Sports Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Get the latest on Pittsburgh sports from anywhere with the Odyssey app. Listen to shows and Pirate Games live. Check out our exclusive interviews and content anytime. Download the Odyssey app now and never miss a minute. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Pirates look to avoid the sweep today against the Cincinnati Reds. 1:35 is the first pitch from the North Shore, and the North Shore Tavern leadoff show will begin at noon this afternoon, leading you into the Pirates Insider Show at 12:35. Mitch Keller gets the ball today for the Pirates against Brady Singer of Cincinnati. More headlines, 937thefan.com. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. It's the season to break out the clubs. Practice your swing, then look for the 19th hole. Golf season is here, and Going Low is back. Join Chris Muller every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. for Going Low. Powered by Bowser Chevrolet. Chris will talk national golf news, meet with local golf pros, and visit courses throughout the summer. Going Low is brought to you by Cedarbrook Golf Course, True Green, Chestnut Ridge Golf Course, and Omni Bedford Springs. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Here's a World Soccer Championship recap.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. Group K came to an end with Colombia and Portugal fighting hard to win the group. And in the end, after a 0 draw, it was Colombia who took the top spot. While the Democratic Republic of Congo needed a win to move on to the round of 32. And they got it by scoring 3 unanswered goals against Uzbekistan. Colombia now face Ghana, Portugal against Croatia, and DR Congo take on England. I'm Fernando Carlos.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that Honey Pepper Pimento Sandwich.
And that Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on the select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack in the $6 Biggie Bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie Bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Yinzer Nation, pro football is coming to Paris, and True Fan Travel is bringing you there. October 20th through the 26th. 5 nights at the Hyatt Regency in Paris. Steps from the Arc de Triomphe. A private group tour of the city. A dinner cruise along the Seine. A pep rally with a black and gold legend. And an all-inclusive tailgate before kickoff at Stade de France. This is the first ever pro football game in Paris. You don't want to watch this one from your couch. Book now at truefantravel.com. Spots are limited.
If you look at online reviews from most roofing companies, it isn't pretty. Problems like missed appointments, lack of follow-up, and sloppy workmanship are unfortunately common complaints. Hey, it's Chris Muller, and that's not the case when you hire MHI Roofing. In fact, they make 3 promises to their customers. First, they'll respect your time by being on time for appointments, promptly following up, and doing what they say they'll do. Second, you get a perfect perfect roof installed by their highly skilled roofing crews. And finally, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. No other roofing company can offer you a longer, more comprehensive warranty, over-the-top customer service, a perfect installation, and a 50-year leak-free guarantee. It's easy to see why MHI has so many raving 5-star reviews on Google and why they're different from every roofing company in town. Right now, get $500 off a new roof and no interest financing until 2031. Set up your free 21-point roof inspection, 412-998-8864, or book an appointment online at mhiroof.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Hey, it's Pony for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook at 93.7 The Fan on the biggest stage in the world. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Well, not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. This is going to be a really big deal for the USA match against Turkey this week. The final match in group stage, the U.S. has already clinched its spot, number one seed coming out of this group. That means that they're probably going to do a lot of substitutions, and we're going to see a lot of different faces for this last game. So protect yourself. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now, and let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER.
84 Lumber is partnered with Anderson Windows and Doors to bring a brand new showroom to Mount Lebanon. From homeowners to industry pros, everyone can see, touch, and interact with various series of Anderson windows and a wide variety of doors to make the most informed decision for their build. 84 Lumber experts are on site to demonstrate product features, answer your questions, and even schedule a visit to the job site for measuring and installation. Your budget matters, and flexible financing options are available. Call today to schedule a personal consultation at 570-507-8015.
For 250 years, America has been more than a place. It's been a promise, a story of courage, hope, and dreams. And through it all, local TV and radio broadcasters have been there, telling the story of America, bringing truth to light. Broadcasters tell the story of who we are and who we aspire to be. We are America's storytellers. We are broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan gets your day started with the latest in Pittsburgh sports with the Fan Morning Show with Doran Dickerson and Adam Crowley. Weekdays 5:40 to 10. Presented by Guardian Protection on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Live from the Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Josh Roundtree here with you on this Sunday morning. Colin Beasley coming up just after 9 o'clock from the Post-Gazette. We'll talk about a number of things. I wanted to ask him this too. The Pirates are, I've noticed it, but they are horrendously bad at the ABS challenge. I didn't realize how bad it was, but I do find this interesting. The Minnesota Twins, whose manager is Derek Shelton, have won twice, over double the amount of challenges that the Pirates have won this year. Is there a remedy to that? I don't know, but curious to get Colin's thoughts on that coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, among a variety of other issues involving the Pittsburgh Pirates. Myers and I went to this Greek food festival last night. What an idea that the Greeks had. I mean, you could say the Olympic Games, very high. You could there's a number of political type things that the Greeks came up with way back when. The Parthenon, pretty sweet. But the Greek food festival really is where it hits home with the Greeks nowadays. I think they've done a great job there. It was incredible. And I think very underrated. Joel, have you ever had Greek food?
I might have had like a gyro one time and some fries, but
I always find it interesting because I think people in Pittsburgh generally call them gyros, but I think they're actually called gyros.
It's technically gyro, right?
Yeah.
So
I just know when we were when we had a couple of pops down on the south side and we went to Mike and Tony's for a gyro, they were getting called gyros by everybody in there.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. Not a euro in sight. Not a euro in earshot.
So do you think if someone were to pronounce it gyro, they'd get some dirty looks?
Maybe, but probably not at Mike and Tony's because they hear it probably 98% of the time.
Sure.
I would think. That was the place to go though when you there were some pizza options down there back in the heyday of Carson Street, but that's neither here nor there. What hasn't been great, unlike the Greek food of last night that Myers and I got into, has been the Pirates and their bullpen. And it's also been Paul Skeens. And I don't know that I think there's some things that I've heard so many things about Paul Skeens, this and that, and why he's regressed, and there's a lot of things that have been thrown out there. I think some of them have validity, some of them maybe don't. How much did the World Baseball Classic affect him? I mean, I would hope not a ton, but ramping up that early going into a season, did that have any effect? But then I think, all right, well, this is a guy that pitched in college and pitched a ton of innings, and then he came in to the professional ranks, and he didn't really show any signs of issues there coming off his lengthy college season at LSU. The big question I think that everybody is concerned about, and it's the one that I think people dance around because they are terrified of the potential of this being true. Is there a health thing going on here? Command is not what it was, clearly. The fastball velocity has been down. The ERA is up. And I've seen a lot of people talk about how and I'm not smart enough from a baseball pitching standpoint to really break down what all of this means, but that essentially he is mechanically different this year than he was a year ago, that he is doing things mechanically different, and he looks different with his delivery than he did when he was having so much success a year ago and a year before that. Now, are those tweaks at the Pirates and their pitching staff and new pitching coach? Is that something they've done? Is that something Skeens has done? Is it a change made because maybe he's not healthy totally, or the arm strength isn't maybe what it was? I hope these things aren't true. Clearly, nobody wants to see that here, obviously. But I've heard these things thrown out. I've heard these issues come up. I've heard fans and others say maybe this is playing a role here. Is there maybe issues defensively that have changed who he is a little bit? I think some of that is definitely valid. I think when you're a pitcher and you don't really rely on the guys behind you, can't really rely on the guys behind you, and I think that's an accurate assessment of what the Pirates have been like defensively this year. That's an issue. I think when you're a pitcher and you know that your bullpen stinks to high heavens, that maybe has you changing some things that you might do, even though, it hasn't worked for Skeens at this point. Is he pitching in a way where he's trying to, maybe get quick outs and go deeper into games, and it's maybe making him not go deeper and get quick outs? The reality is this guy hasn't pitched into the 7th inning in far, far, far too long. He's lost, the Pirates have lost 8 games in a row in which he has started. I don't know if this is, I don't think this is a valid thing. I hope not, but I don't know that it's something that you can't bring up here, that they paid Connor Griffin and not him. Is there any validity to that part of the conversation? Had they had conversations with Paul Skeens about a contract extension? Serious conversations. And Skeens, knowing where the Pirates are financially, did he potentially look at that Connor Griffin thing in maybe not the best light? Not that he would ever say that publicly. And I don't know that that's the case. I would hope not. But there's a lot of things that have gone on around the Pirates that you could look at and say, is this playing a role? You just ask the question. Is this playing a role in why Paul Skeens is perhaps not as similar to Paul Skeens as he has been in the past? There is part of this that I think just comes back to, and I hope that this is what this really comes down to. Maybe this is just part of the maturation process with a young pitcher. Maybe we've acted like Paul Skeens can walk on water when really he is just a pitcher. He's just a good pitcher. If you go back, and I was curious about this, I was thinking, who's like a modern day elite pitcher? A guy that was constantly in Cy Young discussions. And the first name that came to the top of my mind was, I'll ask this question of you, Joel. Let's say last 15 years. If I were to say, who is the major league pitcher that just every year in and year out, was just a dog, that just got after it every year of his career, you just knew that he was going to be in contention for a Cy Young. He was an ace if there ever was one. Who's the number one guy that probably in the last 15 years comes to mind?
First 3 names for me are Clayton Kershaw, Jacob deGrom, and Max Scherzer.
Clayton Kershaw was the guy that came to mind for me when I thought about
probably
that.
Put Justin Verlander in there too, but Clayton Kershaw, the number one.
Clayton Kershaw was the guy that came to my mind. Last 15 years, the most modern day sample sizes that we can get. Who is a guy that every single year looked like a bona fide ace, that looked like an elite pitcher, an all-star, a Cy Young contender? And the number one name that came to my mind was Clayton Kershaw. And then I started thinking, all right, well, what did things look like in the early part of Clayton Kershaw's career? And I found it interesting that his first season was a brief sample size. He was 20 years old, but not that brief. He pitched 21 games, 21 starts his first year. So a decent enough sample size, a little over 100 innings. He had an ERA that was 4.26, kind of mixed results early on. His first full year, though, starting 31 games, that ERA went down to 2.79. The year after that, he had an ERA up around 3, which is kind of where Paul Skeens is right now. I think he's at 3.10 after his last start. 2.91 in the third year of his career, which is where Paul Skeens is right now. That was where Clayton Kershaw was. 2.91, it was his ERA. It took 9 years for Clayton Kershaw to post an ERA worse than 2.91. The league caught up with him a little bit. The league in his third year started to figure him out a little bit. And what did he do? That was 2010. He had a 2.91 ERA. The next year, he won the Cy Young. The next year, second in Cy Young voting. The next year, he won the Cy Young. The next year, he won the Cy Young. The next year, he was third in voting. The next year, fifth in voting. The next year, second in voting. 9 years it took Clayton Kershaw to have his ERA come back to where it was in year number 3. Up around 3. So maybe it's just part of the maturation process. Maybe this is a blip on the radar. The problem is the blip on the radar has come in a season where the Pirates can ill afford their star pitcher to have a blip on the radar. I want to talk about that a little bit more when we bring our guest on in a moment here, and that is Colin Beasley from the Post-Gazette. So we'll get into that with Colin on the other side of the break. Fan Weather brought to you by Secure Money Advisors. Looking to retire soon? Let Secure Money Advisors get your retirement on track. Chance of rain in the afternoon. Hot temps expected across the work week, potentially in the upper 90s. I'm Josh Roundtree. Colin Beasley joins us next here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Pirates fell to the Reds 9-7 yesterday. The third and final game of the series is this afternoon, 1:35. From PNC Park, Mitch Keller takes them out against Brady Singer. Coverage on The Fan at noon, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. More headlines, 937thefan.com. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, the PM team, presented by Mike's Beer Bar.
All sorts on his face. The
Donnie,
scowl.
make a scowl face for us. Let me hear what. Let me
Scowl
see
at me.
Let me see that scowl.
Donnie,
there.
here, just imagine you thought you'd be the starting quarterback. The other guy played when you felt you were healthy. He won the game, and now the reporters have just looked at you in the locker room. That looks more like a constipated frown.
What, you have a good scowl? That's your regular face, Halsey.
The PM team at 2 p.m. Live and local, just like Mike's. HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey Sports Station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app.
Drive in style with the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo from South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Payments start at just $299 a month for 36 months. Comfort, capability, and legendary Jeep performance. Visit SouthHillsChryslerJeep.net for more details.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly.
Charles Leach, providing insurance solutions. Call 888-CP-LEACH.
My name is Lisa Goff. I am the third generation owner of Charles P. Leach Agency located in New Bethlehem. And we also have a second location now in Slippery Rock called Cassidy Insurance Group. Our biggest specialty is definitely volunteer fire departments. I think what gives us the specialty in the area of fire departments is, number one, our people that go out and talk to the fire departments are firemen. So they get it. They are the guys running into the building when everybody else is running out, and they understand all the equipment. And they understand all of the things that a fireman and a fire department go through. We pick up the phone, we answer it with a live person. The number to call is 888-CP-LEACH, L-E-A-C-H.
Charles Leach, providing insurance solutions. Call 888-CP-LEACH.
Our veterans and their families make great sacrifices to protect our nation. Now it's time for them to receive assistance in their time of need as they age. If you are a veteran or the spouse of a veteran, contact Julian Gray Associates to speak with one of their VA-accredited attorneys to find out how you can receive compensation for the costs of care you are receiving in your home or a long-term care facility. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
Your home hometown building partner since 1956. 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
During the Make This the Summer sales event, what's the Ram of Pittsburgh difference?
Simple. Bring us your best offer on any new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram truck, and we'll beat it. Within minutes. No waiting, no games. Easy as that.
And if you can't?
Bob, we haven't run into that problem yet.
Get to Fournier's Three Rivers Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram at the corner of West Liberty Avenue and Brookline Boulevard, or visit ramofpittsburgh.com for all the details.
We truly are Pittsburgh's Ram store.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
All right, Joel Nelson for Fan Headlines. Pirates yesterday fell to Cincinnati 9-7. Third and final game of the series is 1:35 this afternoon. It'll be Mitch Keller against Brady Singer. Coverage on The Fan at noon, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. More headlines, 937thefan.com. Colin Beasley joins the show next.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
Fan text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Let's bring in our first and only guest of our morning show here on this Sunday morning, and that is from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Pirates beat writer Colin Beasley. Colin, good morning, bud. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. Let's dive right into the Pirates and where they sit right now. June 28th, essentially the midway point of the season, just past it, in fact, and they're a game under 500. A lot of what we've talked about, Colin, so far this morning is things like temperament and leadership. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on that as a guy that's been around the clubhouse a ton. Where do you feel like this team sits from like a veteran leadership standpoint, a guy that kind of corrals the group? I mean, you look back 13-15 this year they had some real legitimate leaders when they had their successful seasons. And I think that right now is a little bit in question. I'm curious in your time talking with them and being in that clubhouse is there that leadership and could that maybe be something that going forward they need to have somebody emerge in that role a little bit more?
I wouldn't necessarily say that leadership has been an issue this year. And I wasn't around the 2013, 2014, 2015 teams, so I didn't see exactly what the AJ Burnett's and Russell Martins and others in that vein, how they led and how that comparison was made. But this year I have seen a marked difference in how guys like Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, and even Marcell Ozuna have stepped up. I've seen that they've been the guys who are both good to go to for us after a loss because they're able to put things in perspective and say the right things. But I've seen them have conversations, and I've heard their teammates both on and off the record praise the impact that these guys have made. I remember Braxton Ashcraft a couple of months ago praising Ryan O'Hearn for his impact on the team. And I thought that was extremely interesting because generally there's a lot of pitchers stay with pitchers and hitters stay with hitters. So seeing Braxton Ashcraft go out of his way to praise Ryan O'Hearn and his impact on the team was something I found very interesting. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that everything has been perfect. I mean, what happened with Jared Jones and Andy Rodriguez is something that's a little bit concerning and something that you'd rather have happen either in a dugout tunnel or behind closed doors or somewhere instead of on TV. But as in terms of leadership as a whole, I will say that the guys they brought in have made a marked difference in terms of what this team and this group looked like last year in terms of a leadership perspective.
Can we dive in a little bit more to what happened with Jones and Rodriguez last night? I know you and I talked. You weren't in the clubhouse last night, but obviously that's one of those things that I look at it two ways. One, fire and intensity and guys, kind of maybe holding each other accountable, maybe, in the moment. It's not the worst thing in the world, but like you said, there's probably a time and place for that. And there's probably a guy, the right guy for that. And I don't know that Jones is necessarily that guy right now. how do you not let things like that maybe spiral out of control if you're this Pirates team? And how concerning is that when you look at it and you see two younger guys kind of going at it a little bit in a dugout? And then their reactions afterwards I thought were interesting, where they kind of had differing views on what they were arguing about, or at least what they told us that they were arguing about when they talked to the media afterwards.
Yeah, I think both of them tried to put it out in a different way without like talking to each other or without getting their story straight ahead of time, not knowing that this was going to be a story or whatever it ended up being. They didn't, seems like wires crossed there. I wouldn't say I'm too concerned about it. I mean, Jared Jones is a passionate, intense guy, and I watched his post-game presser, like you mentioned. I wasn't in the room yesterday. Yesterday happened to be the lone off day of the homestand, which was annoying timing for that. But watching Jared Jones post game presser, and it was a lot of frustration, and it wasn't directed at Endy Rodriguez or at anyone who made an error or at the weather or anything like that. It seemed the vast majority of it was frustration with himself and not executing and getting hit hard, and like he's upset with where he's been over the last couple of starts and how he's pitched, where his ERA is, all that sort of thing. I don't like, you never want to show up your catcher as a pitcher. I get being on a different page and wanting to talk about it, but there are ways to do that and better ways to handle it and better times to do that after being pulled from the game without completing 5 innings. What I will say though is it makes sense that their relationship is developing a little bit, considering Jones has missed the last year plus with injuries, and Endy Rodriguez has also done the same and has spent a lot of time in AAA. And this isn't necessarily a battery combination that you knew was coming up. I am interested to see how it develops, if Jones and Rodriguez, if that continues as the battery mate, or if Henry Davis slides in, or exactly how you do it. But yeah, it certainly wasn't handled the way it should have been. But at the same time, I chalk it up more towards Jared Jones' general frustration over how he pitched rather than anything his catcher did.
Fans right now generally clamoring for aggressive moves, particularly when it comes to the bullpen. Colin, kind of a simple question, but if you could dive in, does this team deserve aggressive moves from Ben Cherington and company as it approaches the trade deadline?
It's funny because Noah Hiles and I have debated this, and we both put relatively different things in the Post-Gazette on it. It depends on how you define aggressive, in my opinion. And I think that Noah and I both agree that we don't think that the team is just an Aroldis Chapman or a Tarik Skubal or something like that away. I'm of the perspective that this isn't the last year that the Pirates are going to have a decent team in the window. It's not like a 1-year window, so I don't know that I would mortgage the Seth Hernandez and Edward Florentinos of the world in order to get someone who is a 1-year rental, someone who will only make an impact for this postseason run. However, this team is like, there's a lot of good things about this team. They are 3 games back of a wild card position. They are 40-41. They have a chance. This is not the same like out of contention Pirates team that we've seen last year and in the recent years. There is still a real chance at a postseason appearance, at getting there. And then if your pitching gets together or sticks together, that you'd want that in a postseason series. So I do think it's worth making moves from the prospect capital in order to upgrade the bullpen. I think that that's something that needs to be made. That's something that should be made. That's something that should be addressed. I wouldn't mortgage the future just to go all in on this 1 year. But I do believe the Pirates' flaws are addressable this year. I do think that you can make trades for a couple of bullpen pieces and address that, and maybe find some ways to upgrade the defense or anything like that. I wouldn't go all in, every chip on the table in towards this year, because you still have a lot of the strengths next year. But this team isn't that far away, and I think that the Pirates should make moves to do their best to compete this year.
You know, I would say 5 years ago, you're looking at this Pirates team and saying, hey, look, this is not a team that's in any place to be aggressive if you're Ben Cherington. I do wonder on top of that, and as you were speaking, it kind of popped in my mind here. If you're Ben Cherington right now, you have to be thinking, my window personally as the GM of this team has to be shrinking a little bit right now. And could that maybe lead them to being perhaps overly aggressive and doing the things you said they don't necessarily need to do? I mean, does that come into play here, do you think, at all, where Cherington says, hey, look, we need to win and we need to win now. And yeah, the window might be open going forward, but if this season does not work out, he very much, I would think, should be and could be on the chopping block.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, to be honest. Like, this is year 7, and that's not to say that the Pirates wouldn't be good in year 8, 9, 10, but at a certain point you do have to go for it. You do have to acknowledge that there are pieces in place here, and it's I see tweets, some serious, some not serious, about how the season is over and the Pirates should start trading everyone and go all in on a rebuild and that sort of thing. But the whole point of having a rebuild is to get guys like Connor Griffin and to get guys like Braxton Ashcraft. And I know Paul Skeens, the clock's ticking on that, but you have a Paul Skeens for this year and not too many more after that. You want to go in with the pieces you have, but at the same time, there are some very, very real weaknesses that this team has to address. The bullpen is the main one, and if the current bullpen continues, the Pirates team are not going to have anywhere near the season they want, the postseason goals they want.
I think we've had 3 callers bring up the fact that if games ended after 7 innings this year, the Pirates would be 55-27. How much of that do you sense is maybe wearing on the team a tad? And then what are some options for them to fix the bullpen as they start to explore the trade market? Obviously, Aroldis Chapman's the big name that gets thrown out there, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on maybe where else they might be able to look and what exactly they're looking for in relief pitchers when they explore trades.
All right, so I saw that stat, and I was actually just about to address it on Twitter because that's entirely not true. Like, the Pirates,
I didn't think it was true, but like 9 people have brought it up today, and I just haven't done the homework on it, and I just can't imagine that they would be 28 games over 500 if not for their bullpen.
Yeah, I actually have it in my drafts. I'm like about to tweet out after that, but Pirates are 3-34 when leading after 7 innings, 3-34 when trailing, and 5-4 including yesterday when tied. That means that if games ended after 7 innings, not counting the extra inning ones, they'd be 37-37. Like, that's just entirely not true. They wouldn't be 55-27. I'm assuming that the AR calculation just took the 17 blown saves, figured they lost 14 of those, and said, okay, let's switch them all to wins. And
this is a perfect example on why you can't trust AI as much as you can a sports reporter, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. But no, that's not to say the bullpen isn't an issue, right? Because 17 blown saves are something that it's really bad. It needs to be addressed. It's been a real issue for this team, but the Pirates wouldn't be 55-27 if games ended after 7 innings. They'd be probably slightly above 500 instead of they're slightly below 500. What was your second question? I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's totally understandable. As far as them exploring the trade market, Aroldis Chapman's the name that gets thrown out there by a lot of people. Obviously, there's familiarity there with Chapman. But where else might they look, and what exactly are they looking for a reliever? Is it just kind of blanket across the board, anybody that can help the bullpen?
I mean, they've reached out to all 29 other teams and have had conversations. That's something that we heard on this very radio station from Ben Cherington last week about their search for bullpen help. And if I had my wish list, I'd want number one, I'd want a 9th inning guy, and that would make a lot of the other guys in the bullpen better because a Gregory Soto would be more effective in the 8th and the 9th, and a Dennis Santana or Mason Montgomery would be more effective in the 7th and the 8th. And by just getting one closer, someone like an Aroldis Chapman, then everyone else would be moved down a peg and moved into a slightly lower leverage spot. And I really do think that would help this bullpen. I think that the other main thing they're looking for is a true right-hander that can be their top right-handed option. I haven't heard too many names on this front in terms of who they're actually looking at. I had a friend of mine, a Mets fan, bring up like Huascar Brazoban and Luke Weaver. Those are two that if the Mets do deal, that would make a lot of sense, because if you have that, then again, that can push down the Sotos and the Santanas and the Matsons down to a lower leverage spot where maybe they'd succeed a little bit more. I think that if you address this correctly, you don't necessarily need 5 or 6 guys to come in and fix the bullpen. If you get 1 or 2 and move everyone down a notch on the bullpen ladder, then that can make a real impact for the team. That said, it's still a little bit early in terms of who exactly will be available. The Red Sox, the Mets haven't decided whether they're selling yet, so that makes it a little bit more complicated. Those are just names that I've seen that could make a lot of sense if they do decide to sell.
Yeah,
they should. The Red Sox aren't going.
Yeah, agreed. Paul Skeens, they've lost 8 games in a row that he started. Not all of that is on Paul Skeens, certainly, but you do look now, the ERA is up over 3 for the first time in his very, very young career. I brought up the point earlier, some of it is probably just the league hitting back a little bit. You go back, I think it was Clayton Kershaw's 3rd year in the league, much like Skeens, his ERA crept up near 3. It ended up finishing like 291 that season, and it wasn't that high again for the next decade. Is part of this just the maturation process of Paul Skeens, or are there some things maybe either mechanically, health-wise, other factors that are playing the role, and how do you assess sort of what appears to be a step back, even if a slight one, for Paul Skeens so far?
Yeah, it's definitely a step back, and yes, a lot of the underlying metrics are good. I know that fans don't necessarily want to hear about that, but it's shown that it's not necessarily just Skeens falling off a cliff. It's a lot of other things in there. I think that there were some adjustments the league has been able to make in order to be more effective against Paul Skeens. We're seeing him be less efficient, and some of that, not all of it, but some of that is simply the approach that other teams are taking. Seems like they've realized that they can drive his pitch count up and have these long innings and get him out of the game faster at a minimum, if not do some damage against him while you're there. I think that's the league adjusting. I also think that Skeens is adjusting a little bit too. You see his release angle is a little bit lower. The fastball velo is a little bit down. I think that some of that is him trying to get himself ready for a 200-plus inning season and trying to make that adjustment in order to stay effective through an entire year. I don't necessarily know that means that this Skeens is the one we'll see for the next 15 years of his career, or if it's an adjustment he's making to try and figure it out and to be effective, or exactly what it is. But I do think that's at least a little bit of an adjustment he's made too. I also do think that really the biggest factor in all of this is simply the Pirates defense this year being a whole lot worse than it was last year and the year before that. That's something where the fielding independent pitching for the entire pitching staff is basically the same as it was last year. The difference is third base defense is worse, outfield defense is worse. There's a whole lot more defensive weaknesses on this team. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that means that alone is the reason why Paul Skeens hasn't been Paul Skeens and they've lost 8 consecutive of his starts, but that is a factor that's gone a little bit under the radar in all of this, is that the guys behind him they can hit a whole lot more, but fielding-wise, it's been a major step back.
What's going on with how they use Carmen Mlodzinski? Can you kind of shed some light onto what's going on there? And boy, it seems like he might be a little bit more effective given his ability pitching multiple shorter outings a week instead of what they're doing right now. And could that potentially change at some point here given where their bullpen is?
I think one of the funniest things about this situation with Carmen Mlodzinski is that he was going in slotted as either a reliever but not the closer, or a starting pitcher but not the ace, or exactly what it would be. And now the Pirates need him to be like 5 different things at once, because they need him to be in the starting rotation where he'd be an upgrade over Jared Jones at this point, and they need him to be a right-handed reliever where he'd be better than a Santana or a Matson or whatever. And they also need him as their one and only bulk guy, because Wilbert Otell and Anton Kelly and whoever are there, they need him in a whole lot of different positions. As for what actually is going on, I can kind of only say what Don Kelly and Carmen Mlodzinski and others have told us, and that's simply that they want to keep him somewhat built up, and they want to have him as a multi-inning guy. They want to have him in a situation where if they need him to have a starter, they want him to be available for that sort of thing. And that means making sure that when he goes in, it's for a 30, 40, 50 pitch outing instead of just for a 10, 15, 20 pitch outing. They want to have him built up there. I will say it's interesting how Don Kelly and Carmen Mlodzinski and others have said that there's some flexibility in this role when I haven't really seen any of that. I've seen every game that he's gone into, it's seemed relatively scripted in terms of him going out into the outfield before the game and doing his starting pitching routine. And roughly 2 hours before he gets in that he is available and he's going to pitch today. I haven't seen a game where things start going south and suddenly Carmen Mlodzinski is warming up and available. I don't know whether that's how the Pirates are planning to use him. I don't know whether it's Mlodzinski has said that he's only pitching on this certain day or whether it's a bulk thing. I don't know exactly how that role has been produced, but in terms of what the team has said, in terms of what the people making the decisions have said publicly about it, it's them wanting to keep him stretched out and keep him as an option in a whole lot of different positions. It's not saying I agree with it. That's just what we've seen so far.
Colin, last thing for you. I know you wrote about this, I think, in your mailbag, the Post-Gazette this week. The ABS challenges, they have not been particularly good there. Can you kind of dive into what's led to that, and how does a team get better when it comes to the ABS challenges?
Yeah, when ABS was coming around, I didn't expect it to be a real weakness for teams, but for the Pirates, it has been. They haven't been good challenging offensively. They were 29th last I checked, which was a couple days ago, and catchers have been the one that I've been more concerned about. Their catchers have had the worst success rate in the majors. What they can do in terms of getting better on it, some of it is simply reps and getting used to it. A lot of the guys on the Pirates who are challenging the most are players who haven't dealt with ABS before. The Brian Reynolds, Ryan O'Hearn, Marcelo Zuna, they haven't done that before. I will say all of them have been around league average. They've been hitting around 50%, which is league average. And guys like Spencer Horwitz and Nick Gonzalez have had really no success at all with it. I think it's something where they're simply new to it. One thing that they've done a lot of is they have a traject machine in the batting cage, and that's something that you can get in there and usually use it to take swings and face opposing hitters or opposing pitchers. But you can get in there and you can just simply train your eye and say, see real time whether this is a ball, this is a strike, and get rips there. Catchers have gone in and gotten on the traject machine and tried to catch with it and just say this is a ball, this is a strike, that sort of thing, catching virtual versions of their actual pitcher. And I know they've done some on-field work with the exact same thing where they've set a machine up and gotten behind the plate and worked on it actually on the field with live reps there. I haven't necessarily heard too much in terms of strategy changing or anything like that, but I do know that they realize it's a weakness and they're working to address it. We'll see if that ends up making a difference.
Yeah, we'll see. Colin, great stuff as always, man. And yeah, appreciate you taking some time here on this Sunday morning. Enjoy the game today, and we'll do it again soon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's Colin Beasley from the Post-Gazette. You can check him out at post-gazette.com on Twitter, all that good stuff. That's interesting with the ABS stuff because he wrote about this in his mailbag a couple of days ago. He said, to this point, the Pirates have won 60 challenges, the fewest in the majors. The Minnesota Twins have won 123, which is twice as many. Of course, that is a Minnesota Twins team managed by Derek Shelton. So that's, I mean, I don't know if there's any correlation there at all in any way, but it's just interesting that Derek Shelton's former team is the worst at it, and Derek Shelton's current team is pretty good at it. The Pirates have the second worst success rate on offensive challenges, just ahead of the Braves, 38%. They have the worst rate on defensive challenges at 46%. So that ain't good. They haven't been good there. And, do those things cost you games? I don't know, maybe one or two here or there. It kind of all just funnels into, I think, the bigger picture right now that It's just there's a lot of things that have worked against them outside of them being a really good hitting team. Who would have thought this team that could not hit the broadside of a barn the last few years is now an exceptional hitting team, but their pitching has struggled, their defense has struggled, their bullpen is a mess. They're not good at challenging. You can never really get it all with this team, it seems like. It's always one or the other, or one and then all the others from time to time. If you want to hop in, we have 30 more minutes left in the show. 412-928-9370 is the number. If you want to reach us, we'll grab a call here before we go to a quick break. John in Wexford is next on the Fan. What's up, John?
Jason, how are you, guy?
This is Josh.
Hopefully your Sunday's well.
Yep, thanks.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and then he hung up.
Guess he wanted to talk to Jason Mackey. Jason Mackey only.
Well, that's understandable. I've been there before. Thanks for the call, John. It's they're below 500 right now, and that probably wouldn't surprise a great many people who have gotten to know this organization over the last 30 some odd years. But I don't know the expectations of this team, given where they should have been. This seems like an abject failure right now. There's still time, but they got to make a move here soon. They have to be the aggressive team. And here's the thing, and we talked about this with Colin there. If you're Ben Cherington, do you not just have to go all out with trades? Now, maybe Bob Nutting vetoes some of these things. I don't know how the dynamic is with that necessarily. But if I'm looking at it, I'm saying, man, if we finish below 500 this year in year 7 of what's supposed to be a rebuild, we change managers, we've invested some in our payroll, we've really gone after it hitting wise, we changed our pitching coaching staff up. If this doesn't work, I'm on the unemployment line. So yeah, I'm going to trade whatever I can to get this team in the playoffs. This team, not 27, not 28, not 29, not 30. How do I get 26's team into the playoffs? That's my mentality if I'm Ben Cherington right now. I'm not thinking about 2027's team. I can't afford to. Because if you don't make it, you're gone. You should be gone. Unless he's got assurances already for 27, which would be absolutely imbecilic to give that guy assurances for another year at this point. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Route 19 in Peters Township. We'll take one quick break. We'll take more of your calls after this, and we'll jump around with some comments and some thoughts on some other things, hopefully, as we close out the show as well. I'm Josh Roundtree. Good to be with you here on this Sunday morning. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Every Wednesday, 93.7 The Fan gives you an inside look from a former general manager with Wednesday with Whaley.
Hey, we're playing to win the game.
Doug Whaley joins the Fan Morning Show from 9 to 10 to give his insight from the front office perspective. Wednesdays with Whaley. Doug Whaley is brought to you by 2 Men in a Jug Truck. Cohen Market, the official crispy chicken of the Fan. Tri-State Office Furniture, Morgan & Morgan Law Firm, Smale Kia, and Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. You listen to them every day. Now you can watch them too on the Fan Video Stream powered by Bowser. Catch your favorite 93.7 The Fan host live on the Fan Video Stream. Just hit up 937thefan.com. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Now, Fan Headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Pirates fell to the Reds 9-7 yesterday. The third and final game of the series is 1:35 this afternoon from PNC Park. 12 o'clock will be the North Shore Tavern leadoff show. Mitch Keller will take on Brady Singer. More headlines, 937thefan.com. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. The Bob and Joe Show, weekdays 10 to 2.
Bob, the running game went to pot that year, didn't it? Come on, Bob. Give me some credit.
I laughed. I gave you. What do you want me to do?
It was just a little tiny chuckle.
Because I've
Just
heard
laugh,
these
stay
kinds
allowed.
of things.
I think Bell and Blunt had a joint agreement, Bob, to be the Steelers running backs.
Oh,
Jeff, did you like that?
I'm enjoying these jokes.
The Bob and Joe Show, weekdays 10 to 2 on Sports Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Buy one window, get a free unicorn. Just kidding. Are you tired of dishonest offers? I'm Brian Murphy, owner of Easy Home Exteriors, and we take your home seriously. If you need windows, roofing, siding, or doors, we'll give you fair, honest pricing the first time, every time. No pressure, no gimmicks. We'll give you a free estimate. You don't even need to be home. Call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. If you're lucky, we'll throw in a unicorn.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army, our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, 603 Stanwick Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania lawyer will handle Pennsylvania cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog. Well, they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy? Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support. All in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
84 Lumber has been building America for 70 years. Whether you're a homeowner starting your first project or a pro on the job, 84 Lumber offers the kind of personalized expertise you won't find in a big box store. They're more than just lumber. From windows and doors to siding, trim, and decking, 84 Lumber has the materials you need to get it done right. With 14 locations across Pittsburgh, there's one near you. Visit 84lumber.com to find your store. 84 Lumber, your hometown building partner for 70 years.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
that hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Pros,
Save more on what you need to get the job done right now at Lowe's. Get 15% off select custom entry and interior doors. Plus, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit, now just $169. And at the Lowe's Pro Desk, bring us your materials list and get a quote in minutes. Handwritten, a photo, or even a sticky note is all you need. Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Unlock the savings at Boost Mobile and save up to $600 a year. I've been scouting these big carriers for a minute now, and I've seen them pull the same play 1,000 times. They promise you the world, then hit you with a price hike right when the game gets tight. But Boost Mobile, their $25 a month unlimited wireless plan is the most consistent player on the floor. No contracts, no price hikes. Unlock the savings today at boostmobile.com/unlock. Based on average annual single line payment of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile customers compared to 12 months of the Boost Mobile unlimited wireless plan as of January 2026. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com.
Hey, Weekend Warriors, Donnie Football here. You want to know when your body starts talking back to you on the golf course? Cart path only. Suddenly your ball is 80 yards away or it's in the woods. You're hiking over there with 3 clubs, and by the time you get to it, you're not thinking birdie. You're wondering if the course has an urgent care. And that's the point. It's not just the scorecard. It's the whole day. Walking 18 without feeling like you're in a survival show. Bending down to read a putt without making that noise. Getting home, still having enough left for the kids, the yard, the cooler, all of it. That's why Awaken 180 makes sense. It's a medication-free solution with weekly weight loss support and, yes, free support for life. You may not fix your slice overnight, but if you drop 30, 40, even 50 pounds, the game, life after the game, feels better. Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame. Make the call. 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
93.7 The Fan, The Fan Morning Show with Doran Dickerson and Adam Crowley.
He's making food noises and he's eating ice cream at 7:30 in the morning.
Come on, Pony, try it. I won't let you leave with that just real quick. Num, num, num.
I'm not doing it.
Real quick.
If I do, will you donate $50? 20.
All right.
Num, 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 num.
I can't believe you guys did that. He was all into it. He was like, nom, nom, nom.
It was really the facial expression that did
I got
it.
tears.
The Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates want to visit your teams in action for our youth baseball and softball showcase. Parents and coaches, send an email to us at youthsports@937thefan.com to register your 12 and under team. And 93.7 The Fan may make a stop at your field. Brought to you by Keystone Custom Apparel. Details at 937thefan.com. Let's dive into some phone calls because we have a few folks who want to jump in on the Pirates conversation. I knew I had all these plans, Joel, to talk about so many things, but given what happened last night with the Pirates and where things stand right now, it has dominated these 3 hours for sure. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know. Maybe I'll get asked to come back at some point, and we can talk about some other things, because there's other good topics. But today, I understand it's the people want the Bucko talk from me, and I'm happy to do it. Let's go to Boyd in Philadelphia up first on the Fan. What's up, Boyd?
Hi, Josh. Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Enjoy your show.
Thanks.
I hope I'm wrong, but I can't help but get the feeling now that all this talk over the last couple of weeks, and it's going to continue right up to the trading deadline, is just who are the Pirates going to acquire to help them get to the October tournament, as I like to call it. But at the rate we're going, I can't help but think that the Pirates may be more sellers than buyers as we get closer to August 3rd. Any chance of catching Milwaukee is remote at this point. And even though a wild card berth, the bullpen is just, obviously it's been the Achilles heel of this team for since the beginning of the season, really. Mm-hmm. And until they address that, and the longer it takes them to address that, the more the gap is going to widen. I don't know if there's going to be enough time left, even if they can make a significant acquisition for Aroldis Chapman or some of the other aforementioned pitchers. So
yeah,
it's getting late. Your guest, Colin, had mentioned earlier it's still too early, but it's too early to make a deal. A lot of teams aren't ready to sell yet. I get that. But in terms of addressing the Pirates' need, this is something that really needed to be addressed a couple of months ago, and the longer we wait.
Yeah. I would say this, Boyd, and appreciate the call. I would say this. I think right now you're dealing with a situation where there are not that many teams looking to sell in the National League in particular, and probably even less right now in the American League. Right now in the National League, depending on where the Mets stand, they're 9 games out of a wild card spot. The Mets are. The Pirates are only 3 games out of a playoff spot right now. So I don't think it's time to talk about the Pirates being sellers. Now, you might say they might not be full-on buyers, but I don't think that they're sellers right now, not when you're 3 games out of a wild card spot. And on top of that, the Pirates have the second best run differential of any team in the National League that's not a division leader. The Cubs are plus 39 in run differential. The Pirates are plus 23. Now, some of that gets inflated because the Pirates have some big games in which they've scored a lot of runs and have won by lopsided margins, but they have an offense that's third best in OPS in baseball. They have a pitching staff that, yes, it has not lived up to the expectations, but the starting pitching staff has Paul Skeens, Braxton Ashcraft, and then whoever emerges maybe as that third guy here, or maybe even go get a guy. I don't know. In a wild card series, I like that group. I like the odds of winning with the group that they have if they go and shore up the bullpen. So, yeah, we can say, they're not going anywhere because the bullpen's not good, so they shouldn't make deals. But if they make the right deals and get the right bullpen guys in here, this thing could turn around, I think, relatively quickly. They're a good week or 2 weeks away from really, I think, surging in the National League wildcard picture. And let's be honest, there might not be baseball next year. This might be the GM's last year. There really is no excuse for this team to not, I think, go all in and be massive buyers right now heading towards a deadline. What are you waiting for? It's year 7 of a rebuild. It's not time to kick the can down the road in any way, shape, or form. Let's go to Chuck in Uniontown next on the Fan. Good morning, Chuck. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Josh. Thank you. Yeah, Josh, there's several things here. Number one, the Pirates went too overboard on fixing the offense last year. They did that, but they failed to realize there were other areas of the team. Bullpen, the back rotation starter, maybe defense that didn't get fixed at all.
Yeah.
Number two, $12 million for Ozuna is outrageous because, Josh, most other teams realized that Ozuna was on the way down.
Yeah.
He was done. Why didn't the Pirates realize that? Number three, this organization, this regime, has no history of winning, no history of success. And that, a lot of times the hardest time to make success is the first time because you have no history of winning. And number four, there's got to be some turnaround quick, because how are you going to sell this to the fan base? This was supposed to be the year.
Yeah.
The positive things were said about the Pirates. National people that don't usually say good things about the Pirates were saying good things about it. And it's another empty failure. How do you appease the fan base? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Appreciate the call. Good to hear from you. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. They overpaid for a guy like Ozuna. Maybe they could have used that money elsewhere. Maybe they should have got more aggressive early in free agency when addressing the DH position. I know there's some people that will still, hold on to the Andrew McCutchen of it all, but I don't think that would have been the right move either. They have improved their offense. Did they go overboard in improving their offense? I don't know if there is such a thing, but they certainly neglected other areas in, I think, the willingness to flip their awful offense to at least a good one. They've got a good one, but they've now regressed in plenty of other areas, despite the fact that they have become a pretty good hitting team. Let's go to Ryan in the city. What's up, Ryan?
Josh, good show as always.
Thanks.
You bring up a lot of great points. And my personal opinion is, to your point about the players got to play, that's spot on. Don Kelly making some bad decisions sometimes, but that's life. I wouldn't put the blame all on him. But my biggest, I would say, from the 30,000-foot view is the pitching staff, especially the bullpen, does not have any confidence. I mean, you could see when they roll in there, five runs were up. You could just see it in their eyes, right? The teams are waiting like batting practice, and that's something you really can't fix. So, to your point, what do we do from here? I think it's a confidence issue. I mean, you can see it across the board.
Yeah, I think there's some internal issues without a doubt, Ryan, and thanks for the call. I mean, the bullpen, I think, you look at the body language of Soto last night. Even before he gave up the home run, it wasn't good. He walked a guy to get runners at first and third, and you could just tell after that walk, it was like his shoulders dropped. And as soon as I saw that, and we were watching it, Joel and I were in here watching the re-air this morning on TV, and I watched it again. He walks the guy, and then you just see shoulders drop, and it's like he felt like they had lost the game on that. And it's like, no, you got a guy that's hitting 207 coming to the plate next. It's Eugenio Suarez. He ain't that good. Not right now, at least. That would be like Marcell Ozuna coming to the plate. It's the same guy. Statistically, it's basically the same guy coming to the plate. And it was like he was defeated before he even threw the first pitch to him. And then one gets knocked out of the ballpark and you lose the game. So they got to make a move there. They got to make a move. Back end, bullpen help in general. They could bring in a couple of guys for sure. I don't know about selling your top prospects, but I think you can probably get away with, getting rid of somebody. I think they have enough depth right now that you got to take a risk. I'm not saying go full Chris Archer on this thing, but I think you got to take a risk right now. All right, last call. Let's go to Seth and Cranberry. What's going on?
Hey, Josh. How you doing?
Good.
I saw your tweet about Jared Jones last night, and I actually didn't see the altercation between him and Endy, but it kind of made me realize this is kind of a guy that he's starting to become a problem. I don't really want him on my team if he's going to start these patterns and issues all the time. And he's not pitching well either. So I just wanted to ask, if you, Josh Roundstreet's the general manager of the Pirates, would you try maybe to just trade Jared Jones? I mean, he's not really helping us at all. He's creating issues. I don't like the guy anymore. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I'm probably not at that point yet, Seth, and appreciate the call. Probably not gonna get there yet. I mean, I think maybe you're seeing a young guy that's maybe a little bit immature, being a young guy who's a little bit immature, and maybe with some seasoning, maybe with some humility, and if you have your manager, I think kind of step up and kind of maybe rule a little bit more with an iron fist, perhaps from time to time. With guys like that, then maybe some of those things resolve themselves over time. But I'm not ready, a guy that young and that promising in his career, I'm not ready to go and pull the trigger. And on top of that, you would be selling him right now for a minimal value compared to what his potential sale point could be or potentially should be. So I think he's still probably knocking a little bit of rust off. There's still a process going on. Mentally, that process needs to pick up, though, for sure, because he seems like a guy that's He seems like a guy that is falling a bit behind in that regard and needs to come along a good ways there, because you can't have situations like what happened last night in front of cameras in your dugout with your pitcher and your catcher fighting with each other. You just can't have that. All right. Really good show. Fun 3 hours. We talked a lot of Pirates for sure. We'll have more Pirates coming up here this afternoon on the Fan as they look to salvage a game from this series. Fan weather brought to you by Secure Money Advisors. Looking to retire soon? Let Secure Money Advisors get your retirement on track. Chance of rain in the afternoon today. Hot temps across the week. Potential in the upper 90s. Thanks to Joel Nelson. Thanks to Colin Beasley for joining us as well. Appreciate that. And I'm Josh Roundtree. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good rest of your Sunday. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.